Welcome to the Kibbie Dome at the University of Idaho. It's one of the more unique venues in all of college football. Tonight, the rival Boise State Broncos are here, fourth ranked with BCS hopes still running high. Star quarterback Kellen Moore is a Heisman candidate, but tonight, he's also a target. The Idaho Vandals have been preparing to come after Kellen with everything they have. The local fans are excited. They get one last shot at Boise right now. Welcome you to ESPN's College Football Primetime. We're in Moscow, Idaho, the small border town near Washington, part of the rolling hills of the Palouse region. Fourth ranked 8-0 Boise State looks to roll through the WAC conference slate. They face their in-state rivals here, the 40th and potentially last meeting for a while between the Broncos and the Vandals. Good evening, everybody. I'm Joe Tessitore, as always, joined by my partner, Rod Gilmore. And for so many years, Rod, we've watched this Boise offense. They've wowed us with gaudy stats and gadget plays. But this year, something different as to why they're so dominant.
Yeah, that would be defense. They have really stepped it up. I put on the tape. I'm impressed with their speed, how physical they are, and the team tackling. Well, you put on the stats. Take a look at what they do. You're equally impressed. How about that scoring defense? Less than 13 points a game. You can't run the ball against them. Their third down conversion, they just make sure they get off the field, and they also sack the quarterback. This is a really, really underrated defense that deserves more credit than it's getting.
And this rivalry deserves more credit than it's getting. And I know Boise is an overwhelming favorite, but it goes so far as that even this past summer, school president getting involved talking about the behavior of some of the fans here in Idaho.
Yeah, it's really a clash of cultures, if you will. I mean, the school president of Boise State comes out and says, you know what? Those folks up there, they're inebriated and they're nasty at football games, and that's a problem for him. Chris Peterson actually said, why do we come here and play at Moscow? And you see on the field, it's already gotten hot.
It is hot and heated as the teams need to be separated here pregame. The Vandals have had some struggles this year, but they've been waiting for this one. Just listen to Coach Rob Akey as kickoff is next.
JP, you ready to roll, man? Let's go, baby, let's go. AJ, you ready to light it up? Let's go. Showtime, kid. Get after it tonight. Hey, now, homeboys, everything you got, every play, all night long. You got that? Sir. Make yourself America's favorite team tonight. Get it done. Y'all got that? Y'all got to get after it. All night long now. All night long. Y'all get after it. You slow it up.
The Rose, Fiesta, Orange, Sugar, and the Tostitos BCS National Championship game. ESPN, the BCS lives here.
Back to the Kibbie Dome. ESPN, of course, home to the BCS, and Boise hoping to have a home there themselves. The current Discover Card BCS standings at the Broncos number 4. TCU ahead of them. Of course, battling for the automatic slot given to the highest non-AQ conference team. A lot can happen with Oregon and Auburn out in front. Boise State coach Chris Peterson, as is always the case, Coach Pete pays no attention to those BCS standings. He only worries himself with winning the game in front of him and seeing how things play out. He said to us the other day, what am I missing? It's not over. There's so much football to be played.
He has a zen-like approach to the season, focusing only on the here and now.
Idaho's Rob Akey, a real character, a vocal, tough guy. Rallied his team to a bowl win a year ago, 4th season at Idaho. When we asked him, how do you beat Boise? He said, we have to start fast, maintain it, and finish strong. Pretty much you have to do everything right.
Yeah, well, you know, you can't get caught up in playing mistake-free because you're going to have some issues. If you play that way, you don't take the right chances, and sometimes you leave something out there, and you play so conservatively that you wind up losing the game and getting yourself blown out. So they're going to have to take some chances.
And there is Kama Bailey, their all-time kickoff return yardage leader for the Vandals, as Boise will be kicking off, and Justin Beltung and Bailey will be back deep to receive. Idaho won the toss and decided to receive. Trevor Harmon to kick off for Boise. 8 touchbacks on the year for Harmon. And this is Veltung. And Veltung gets out to the 24-yard line. So we will see Nate Enderle. He's got a big arm, smart player. 6'5", 233. He's got that prototype size and has the arm strength, Rod.
Well, and the NFL scouts have been hovering, watching him. He's a 4-year starter. And I tell you, Tess, watching him on tape, when he gets into the 5-step drop and has a chance to show you his arm, he throws it deep out. He throws it come back. He can throw it deep. He's got a beautiful arm.
Troy Vital, the lone back for the Vandals. Enderle to pass, going downfield and overthrowing the intended target. He was trying to get it to Armani Johnson, but that's what they'll do. They'll take some strikes downfield. The coverage came from Jamar Taylor.
Well, Tess, you look at their offense, they've got some advantages at the skill spot because of their size. Eric Greenwood, 6'6" as a wide receiver. Preston Davis also very shifty in there. They've got matchups on the outside that they really like. This offensive line has struggled most of the season trying to run the football. Matt Cleveland, excellent pass protector on the left side.
Enderle downfield again, and this is incomplete, looking for Preston Davis over the middle. Let's look at that Boise defense that we've been raving about.
A very underrated defense, and it begins up front. Ryan Winterswijk, very, very good. I love Billy Wynn inside, very athletic. They'll move him around an awful lot. McClellan having a great season at the other end spot. Byron Hout moved from a defensive end spot to a linebacker spot and has made the transition very easily.
So Enderle facing his first 3rd and 10, and that is off the hands of Maurice Shaw. So a 3-and-out for the Vandals as the Boise defense does their job early. 2nd nationally as a scoring defense.
Well, they certainly didn't waste any time showing off Enderle's arm. And they got him back there and let him throw it. And he's a talented quarterback.
Bobby Cohen on to punt. And Chris Potter, the sophomore receiver and special teamer for the Broncos, is back at his 28. And flag comes in.
Full start. Number 50 offense. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
There is Potter, very versatile player for the Broncos, special teamer, but he backs up every wide receiver position. And it's a good boot that drives him back to the 24. Potter now. Still on his feet. Look at this. Through midfield, and here he goes. Chris Potter. Touchdown, Broncos. What a way to start the game. 74-yard punt return for Chris Potter.
Well, Tess, he did a lot of that on his own by breaking a couple of tackles and then turned on the speed. But when he made the first guy miss, he was able to use a couple of blocks, and then he got after it.
And Kyle Brotzman tacks on the extra point. Boy, can they score. every which way. Special teams gets them rolling tonight. Chris Potter does it. 7-zip Broncos. Chris Potter, 76-yard punt return to put Boise up 7-zip. Broncos have scored first in all 9 games this season, building double-digit leads 6 times before they've even allowed a score. Rob Akey, the coach for Idaho, he said, hey, we need to start fast. We need to maintain the pressure.
Well, he also said his team has a tendency to go in the tank when something bad happens. So he's got to make sure he gets them out of that funk when something happens like that punt return.
Sean Tucker, Justin Beltung back deep to return here. Beltung from a yard into his own end zone. And here he goes now. He's taken down at about the 27.
Tess, let's go back to the touchdown. Now watch the great block you're going to get here right there from Hout. Hout does a great job of getting on Chris Ramos with that block. That opens it up for Potter. He makes a couple of guys miss, and then he's off to the races. But Hout got the first block to spring him, and then you saw the running skills of Potter making a couple of guys miss. Poor tackling by Idaho.
Byron Hout, starting middle linebacker. He's made a huge impact moving from defensive end to linebacker this year, and so many of these players asked to also contribute on special teams. That's been a big part of their success. McCarty now. And Princeton McCarty trying to drive forward to the 30.
Tess, I didn't get a chance to tell you about the secondary at Boise State. It's a good one. Here's a look at them. Taylor and Thompson. We've seen Thompson for years on the outside. They play 5 guys in that secondary. Winston Venable is a very sure tackler and an exciting player, a blitzer. They use him an awful lot. Johnson and Iloka, very good safeties.
Yeah, Venable. There's Thompson there. Thompson, one of the big stars of last year's Fiesta Bowl. He scored on a pick-6. Venable, you see him there. He also had a late interception to seal that win against TCU. Back to the ground here with McCarty, and he's out to the 34-yard line.
This defense is a 4-2-5 defense. They use 2 linebackers, 4 defensive linemen, 5 defensive backs, as we talked about. A lot of speed on the field, very physical, and they play so hard. They play aggressively. They keep changing units to get fresh guys out there because everybody plays so hard. That's their model there at Boise State.
3rd and 5, and the slot receiver, Kama Bailey's in the backfield. Enderle. 3 steps, and Eric Greenwood came up with the reception, and it's going to depend on the spot here as Jamar Taylor was quick to jump on him. We'll see where they mark this ball.
Yeah, that was not a great throw by Enderle. It didn't give Greenwood a chance to turn and get upfield, and Taylor did a nice job of getting him out of bounds, but it's enough to get the first down.
So a first down for the Vandals. Eric Greenwood, a big 6'6" target for Nate Enderle. Henry Asuaga, who's a defensive tackle wearing number 40, playing that fullback position in front of Kama Bailey for the Vandals. And Bailey is wrapped up right away by Chase Baker.
Yeah, forget about it. I mean, this defense will shut you down, and Hawaii found that out last week. Hawaii was just rolling. High-scoring offense. They were throwing it all over the place. Look what Boise State did to that Hawaii offense last week.
And that Hawaii team can score. That passing game with Salas and Polaris as the wide receivers. Moniz, very talented offense. And the Broncos just shut them down. Play action. Pressure. Enderle lofts it up, and it is intercepted. Brandon Thompson. And here he goes, looking for blocks in front. And he gets it close to the 40-yard line. The pressure came from Byron Hout. Enderle lofted it up, and Thompson was just waiting on it.
Well, he got a lot of heat, and he wound up putting the ball in between 2 receivers. Look at the pressure that he gets as they bring a blitz this time. Hout's coming in late. Venable also was coming, but this ball was thrown in between Greenwood, and also it looked like it was behind Velton. Those two guys were on the same side, but the ball was thrown in between them, and Thompson just came off of Greenwood to pick it up.
So here's Kellen Moore in the Broncos offense. Doug Martin patiently waiting for his blocks, and now streaking down the far side before he was run down by Ciavier. And Kellen Moore, the junior from, this is as close of a home game as Kellen can have. He's from Prosser, Washington, just a couple hours away. We had a nice chat with Kellen yesterday. He said, I have so many friends that go to school at Wazoo and here at Idaho. So a lot of family and friends have made the trip over the border to see this game. Martin again. And a strong run is going to be just short of that line to make.
Here's the Boise State offense, and what a crew they have. Titus and Pettis. Titus Young, Austin Pettis, a great pair of receivers. Shoemaker really coming on to help out with that double coverage out there. And a very good offensive line led by Nate Potter at the left tackle spot, who's drawing a lot of attention from the NFL scouts.
There you go, 6'6", 300. Talked to Todd McShay the other day. He says he's projected as about a third rounder.
There you go.
3rd and 2 now for the Broncos. Martin. And he's got the first down as he rolls inside to the 30-yard line before Homer Monga was able to corral him.
Well, the Idaho defense really begins with their defensive ends. Lavarius and Mangwa are outstanding pass rushers. A lot of sacks this season. Trayshawn Robinson played his heart out last week.
Kellen over the middle. Titus Young. And a gain of 9. Gary Walker with the tackle on Titus Young.
That secondary will be tested tonight. They've had their issues, particularly on the deep ball. Patton at one corner, Grimes at another. Gary Walker back in the lineup after missing last week.
Here's Martin again. A good burst down to the 15-yard line.
You know, Tess, we talked about this defense and Robinson playing his heart out last week. He was almost dehydrated in that ball game. Tough game for him. Left everything on the field. Wound up in the hospital.
Dehydration last week, and now trying to keep pace with this quick-paced Boise offense. Moore is going to run it. You don't see that often as he slides into those rubber pellets at the 15-yard line.
No, that's not part of the plan. He typically gets rid of the football, finds a receiver, or throws it away. Make no mistake about it, Idaho's game plan is to rattle Kellen Moore.
Highest passer rating in the country. If he maintains this level of play, it'd be the highest of all time. 2nd and 9 now. Martin alone back. Look at the blocking in front. And he's inside the 10-yard line, forced out at about the 8 by Gary Walker and Aaron Grimes.
Now, you and I have watched enough tape together to know you got to get off blocks. You cannot stay blocked. You saw all those white shirts out there. You actually have to engage, disengage, get rid of them, and make the play. And those guys in the black shirts right now are not getting off blocks.
And receivers out in front putting on good blocks as Geraldo Hiwat and Gabe Linehan blocking in front for Doug Martin. And it'll make for a 3rd and 2. See what they've been able to do in the red zone. So effective this year. Martin again. Bulls his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Boise. Shiloh Keough got a mouthful of Doug Martin.
Oh, my goodness. That's shades of Bo Jackson running over people back in the day.
Watch this.
Oh, are you kidding me? Watch him lower the shoulder here. Oh, my goodness.
Shiloh Keough. Jersey askew. Martin celebrating. That's a great highlight by Martin there.
Well, it is for Martin.
And Kyle Brotzman, who now with 2 extra points here has become the all-time leader in point after touchdowns for the Broncos. Number 4 is rolling. How do you do, says Doug Martin.
ESPN's College Football Primetime. Brought to you by Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go. And Jeep.
As they do each and every game, the sledgehammer brought out by the Broncos. Gabe Linehan had the honors tonight. A couple of years ago, by the way, Doug Martin had the sledgehammer and brought it out to midfield here at Idaho and hit the Vandals logo. He did more than that on that touchdown run.
I think he brought the sledgehammer with himself tonight.
Yeah, that was a different kind of hammer.
Ask KO. Oh, gosh.
Rotzman to kick off. The senior kicker from Meridian, Idaho. And look at this, an onside kick. And it goes out of bounds. They're going for everything tonight. Now a Vandals player. They want to get him away from that Broncos sideline.
Yeah, there's a little yapping going on. We had it pregame, little extracurricular activity. It's loud in here. They gave out 10,000 thunder sticks and a lot of woofing.
Free kick out of bounds on the kicking team. Dead ball, personal foul, number 30 on the kicking team. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down. Number 30.
Travis Stanaway is number 30 on Coach Pete's team. But, Ron, you know, let's look at this pregame once again. As the teams need to be separated, and we talked about it. They've been playing for 40 years. Obviously, roles have changed.
Yeah.
Back before they were in the FCS, Idaho would get the best of Boise. Now it's been Boise getting the best of everybody for a decade or so, and this is the last game they will play as Boise's headed to the Mountain West. They go for an onside kick, up 14-zip.
Trying to bury them early. I mean, there are layers and layers to this rivalry.
Enderle. And that falls incomplete off the hands of Preston Davis. The coverage was from Jamar Taylor. As you see, Coach Pete in the series history told you how things changed from the 80s to the modern day and how this has grown into a WAC rivalry.
Well, and Boise State was really stung by some of the verbal shots that Idaho folks have taken at Boise State academically, calling them, oh, the junior college, oh, it used to be a trucking school, all that kind of stuff, and denigrating them, and Boise State has taken real exception to it.
Vital in motion out of the backfield now as Enderle checks off. Enderle with time, and that is intercepted. Aaron Tevis. And this Boise defense is having their way. That is the 58th career interception now for Nate Enderle, the 14th this season.
Well, Enderle just did not see Tevis. He misread the underneath zone. He had his guy there, but he just completely missed it. I mean, he's looking, but there's Tevis just to the right of your screen. Tevis right there. And Enderle never saw him as he was looking outside to Shaw. Never saw Tevis.
So an Idaho team that won a bowl game a year ago. And here's Martin back to work, and he is wrapped up right away just behind the line of scrimmage. Good play by Homer Monga.
Well, we knew that Boise State would challenge this rushing defense. They're ranked number 101 in the country, almost 200 yards a game allowed rushing.
Kellen Moore picks up the pace. Moore gets that complete to Titus Young. And Young is forced out at the 46 by Aaron Grimes.
You know, we're seeing this tempo, no huddle by Boise State. That's relatively new for them. They only started it the last couple of weeks.
Yet another dimension. Martin's in the slot now. Empty backfield for Kellen Moore. Off the hands of Kyle Efall on 3rd and 6. Shiloh Keogh, who was run over on that touchdown by Doug Martin, with the defensive play there, as this crowd appreciates the Vandals D.
Yeah, very good stop by them. Great break on the ball by Keogh coming back as they tried to get the ball out there to Efa. That was a big start.
Trevor Harmon on to punt. Kamal Bailey back at the 15. It's a good boot by Harmon. And it sails into the end zone. College football prime time presented by Hampton Hotels. This is the showdown in the SEC East. Number 23, South Carolina at 22, Florida. ESPN Saturday at 7:15 Eastern.
That will decide the SEC East. How about Florida getting back into it with their 3-quarterback system?
Should be a good one. College football prime time presented by Hampton Hotels. As you see the matchup between Urban Meyer and Steve Spurrier. Urban 4-1 against the old Florida Bull coach.
The Gamecocks have not enjoyed themselves in Gainesville. 0-12.
So Enderle back out there. He's thrown 2 picks already in this first quarter. McCarty nowhere to go at all as that line just shifted to the far side, and everybody quick to get to McCarty, including Winston Venable.
Well, Idaho needs something good to happen. Your star player, your quarterback, 2 picks. And you know he threw 5 against Nebraska earlier this year, and you don't want a repeat of that. So you got to get him settled, and you got to have some success because your teammates are looking to him.
Last year, Boise picked him off 5 times, and they take him down. Enderle goes down as Jarrell Root came crashing home on him.
Hey, take a look right here. Watch how we get him around. It's the last minute, not being seen, and it disrupts the blocking pattern, and he's able to fly right in and make the play. That's a nice job in there by Root.
And now a big hole for the Vandals. 3rd and 18 for Enderle. Shovel pass. Vital looking for space. And able to get back out to the 22 would be well short of the line to make. As Jerron Johnson tracked down Troy Vital.
Hey, this Boise State defense is not giving Idaho anything at all. Nothing at all. They're picking it off. They're knocking around the quarterback. There's no room to run the football.
Chris Potter back out there. Remember, a 76-yard punt return to open up the scoring for the Broncos. And it is blocked. Boise State blocks it. Jerron Johnson all over it. We've said it before. They can do it. They are so balanced, Ron. Every part of their game can make it happen.
Well, we watch them, and then we put the tape on. We watch that, and we talk to other coaches, and everybody agrees. This is the best Boise State team ever.
It is not just a gadgety offense with a supreme passing quarterback. Defense, special teams, punt returns, block kicks, clutch kicking. 2 interceptions, a punt return for a touchdown, a rushing touchdown, and now a blocked punt. And there's still 5:31 to go here in the first. And Doug Martin pulls his way ahead to the 11-yard line.
All that noise has gotten kind of quiet.
You know, it seemed like you could hear a whistle, and I don't know if it came from the crowd, but that was not an official.
No, that probably was from the crowd. You know, those thunder sticks were going. Not as loud now.
Unique formation for the Broncos here. As they go with Chris Potter on the direct snap. And Robert Ciavai was able to locate Potter.
Well, that's another wrinkle to the Boise State offense. A lot more of the Wildcat. And they'll use different players for it. They'll use backup quarterbacks for it. So the no huddle and the Wildcat, a couple of wrinkles they've added mid-season to their attack.
Yeah, we talked to Coach Peterson about it. 5 different players have lined up behind center. Kellen Moore, as Dan Paul tries to fight his way towards that pylon, and the fullback able to get it down to the 1-yard line.
When you get caught up in all the trickeration and everything they do, you forget just how physical this team can be. And Dan Paul's a good example of that at 6 feet, 241 pounds, taking guys on.
So a 1st and goal for the Broncos, as Jeremy Avery will be the deep back here. Avery, touchdown Boise. You like fast starts?
Fast starts, big starts. How about the great blocking up front by that offensive line? Wright, 75, great block. Watch him pull from the right side to the left side. They get in behind him. Good blocking by Wright, 75, and also a little extra blocking over there by Linehan, the tight end, number 87.
And Brotzman makes it 21-zip. 2 interceptions, a block punt return for a touchdown, 2 rushing touchdowns, 21-0. Main Street in Moscow, Idaho. We are at the Kibbe Dome, where the Broncos are up 3 touchdowns to zip here. Celebrating its 6th year, sponsoring the Good Hands Field Goal Nets, Allstate makes contributions to participating universities' general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kick. To date, Allstate has contributed more than $2.3 million in scholarship monies.
I wonder how much of that money Boise State's been responsible for over the years.
Kyle Brotzman, who is the all-time leading field goal kicker and took the extra point lead in school history, added another one after Jeremy Avery just went in from a yard out. Trevor Harmon, a freshman, to kick off now. Beltung and Bailey back deep. Justin Beltung. Out across to the 21.
Hey, Tess, you like to have a lot of big plays. How about 4 in the first quarter? Potter on the big punt return for 6, a kick 6, 76 yards on his return. And then Thompson picking off one of the first throws by Enderle. Tevis getting one of the second throws. And then your special teams with Johnson getting in there, blocking a kick, setting up the 3rd score for Boise State in the first quarter.
There's the sophomore Chris Potter. High fives around, got the night started. And now Enderle needs to make some magic here for the Vandals. McCarty trying to leap over the would-be tackler, Princeton McCarty. That was Hunter White, who was the high hurdle. Winterswike made the tackle on the junior back.
Well, this offense, you're wondering, where do you go? Your star player has thrown 2 picks. Your running attack isn't there. You got to find a way to get settled. Maybe you pull out something that your quarterback really is comfortable with, but you got to get on track.
Rob Akey, the head coach, searching for answers here. They go with the quick screen. This is John Roberson. And he is taken down by George Iloka.
Talk about a fast start. How about the slow start for the Idaho offense? 3 and out twice, a couple picks, 11 yards, and they've only picked up 1 first down tonight.
And this is a team that can sling the ball around. Throughout the year, they've proven that, Rob.
Yeah, 328 yards passing per game, 22 touchdowns on the season.
3rd and 9 for Enderle. Pressure again, and he goes down. Well, you can take all those season stats, crumple them up, and throw them in the garbage when you face this Boise defense. They are all over Idaho.
Yeah, Billy Wynn getting in there, causing havoc. He's on the left side. Watch the stunt they run there with 92 McClellan and also Wynn. Wynn's the one who gets around. Wynn is very athletic at 288 pounds.
Sure is. The junior from Vegas who Now has 4.5 sacks on the year. Big emotional leader of this defense as well. Bobby Collinell to punt now. Gets this one off. Potter awaits, takes a bounce, and it goes the Vandals' way inside the 30. Rolling all the way down to the 25. So Boise on the BCS hunt, and ESPN 3D has come out to see the Broncos. This telecast is available on ESPN 3D, brought to you by Sony. I'm just going to tell you this, and I've done a lot of these 3D games this year. If you got a buddy who has a 3D TV, if you can take in the experience, it is well worth it. There have got to be 5, 6, 7 plays a game that'll just drop your jaw.
Well, I remember you're telling me about Cam Newton diving into the end zone in 3D, an unbelievable shot.
One of the special highlights in 3D this year is Kellen Moore looks to have a few of his own tonight. Play action now for Moore, and he's able to get it to Avery. A little start and stop, and he tries to spin for that first down. Trayshawn Robinson with the tackle. And there, Dave Lamont and Tim Brown, our colleagues who are calling the game. And they got the 3D glasses on there, Rod.
Are you that cool when you have your glasses on?
You wear the
shades.
Nice look. There they are.
That's a strong look.
Had a nice dinner with Dave and Tim last night, talking some football, and those guys do a great job on 3D. Martin and Avery in the backfield, as Avery was able to pick up that first down. And he gets it again out of the backfield. Picks up a block and spins his way out to the 42-yard line.
You know, with all the changes and improvements with the Boise State offense, probably the biggest one is Kellen Moore. And that's saying something about a guy who was the WAC Offensive Player of the Year last year.
Well, we talked to Coach Peterson about that. He said it's really subtle to pick up on, but his overall command of the offense is extraordinary. And he connects with Titus Young for a big score. This Boise team is flawless in this first quarter. 58-yard pitch and catch. Kellen Moore to Titus Young.
And that's the biggest improvement with Kellen Moore, his ability to throw the deep ball. In past years, there was criticism of his not having a strong enough arm, but this season, he has just let it fly, and that was a perfect example of it.
I don't know that I've seen this team play a better quarter of football, Rod. And we've broadcast plenty of their games in recent years. And they capped this first quarter with this, the perfect strike from the Heisman candidate to the senior speedster. Wow. Kellen Moore just threw the 22nd touchdown of his year, and it was a beauty, a 58-yarder to Titus Young. 28-0. Number 4 looks awesome tonight. Building a Program is brought to you by Craftsman.
There you see what they've done to get to where they are, the win streaks that they have. 22 overall, 33 regular season wins in a row, 38 straight in home WAC games, regular season 60. They've never lost a WAC home game. They're doing all right here on the road tonight in Moscow.
Next week we will see them at home against Pat Hill's Fresno club. As Harmon's kick goes through the end zone. So here are the standings in the WAC. You see Boise, the perfect record. Nevada had that one loss to Hawaii, the turnover late, but there's going to be a showdown come the day after Thanksgiving with that Nevada team and Colin Kaepernick. You know they can score, as Boise has to go to Reno to play Nevada the day after Thanksgiving. And Nevada right now number 21 in the country and climbing.
Well, we'll get a chance to see this Boise State team throughout November, tonight, next week, and the following week, and see if they are really the championship caliber team that a lot of people think they may be.
Enderle has time and is able to get it to McCarty. And McCarty is wrapped up by both Acree and Venable. Coach Rob Akey. I mean, what do you do if you're Rob Akey and you're looking up at that scoreboard?
Well, he's got a problem. We talked about when something bad happens, what are the choices? How do you get this team that he said has gone in a funk before? How do you get them right? Well, momentum changers, maybe call them together.
Enderle, 3-step drop, and Greenwood looks like he's going to be marked just short of that line to make, as Eric Greenwood was trying to stretch out as that clock counts down to the end of what was a nearly perfect quarter for the 4th-ranked team in the country. Kellen and company up 4 touchdowns at the end of 1. Now that's what Boise is hoping they get a chance to play for. The Coach's Trophy presented by Dr. Pepper. Of course, it'll be presented to the winner of the BCS National Championship game. This year you can see that on ESPN Monday, January 10th at 8:30 at the University of Phoenix Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. The Waterford Crystal. That thing's handcrafted for 3 months, Rod.
That crystal alone is what, 8 pounds?
Yeah, absolutely. It is 8 pounds, 30 grand. Don't go shopping on QVC for that, Rod.
Not anytime soon.
3rd and 1. Bailey picks up the 1st down and still driving ahead. Good hard effort by Kama Bailey and pick up the 1st down for the Vandals. So the Discover BCS standings, and that top 4 is something special.
Yeah, you know, Oregon goes to Cal. I don't think that's as tough a game as a lot of people think, because Cal lost Kevin Riley, their quarterback. I think Oregon will be fine there. Auburn, Georgia. That's interesting now with all the Cam Newton stuff going on. Question about whether he will play. San Diego State much improved, but TCU will have way too much for them, don't you think?
Yeah, I really do. And then, you know, TCU's got New Mexico after that, so you got to think that they're in pretty good shape. Auburn still has Alabama next week, and Boise, of course, this game and 3 more to go. Enderle's pass incomplete, looking for Preston Davis. By the way, the left tackle Matt Cleveland walked off. He was a little slow to get up after that last play. So Ron Mallory playing left tackle for the Vandals.
Well, and don't forget about potential 1-loss teams lurking behind TCU and Boise State. Perhaps an LSU with 1 loss. You've got Stanford, Wisconsin, 1 loss. But really, if the SEC has a 1-loss team, that's going to be interesting to see how they're treated with respect to Boise State and TCU.
Enderle, 3-step drop, and it was almost picked off by Thompson. Instead, Greenwood was able to secure it. And Thompson says, oh, what could have been.
Well, Thompson is playing with so much confidence. Remember when he was opposite Kyle Wilson and everybody picked on Thompson because they didn't want to go after Wilson? Well, he's grown and learned from that. Watch how he attacks this. I mean, he knows he can go get this thing. He takes an aggressive move inside and just misses coming up with it.
It's a good job by Greenwood. And then, of course, he had Winston Venable backing up Thompson to quickly get on top of Greenwood. So a 3rd and 2 now. Bailey wrapped up right away by Shea McClellan. Good surge into that backfield by the Idaho native McClellan.
You see, this is the difference in Boise State. 3-4 years ago, they didn't have a defensive line like this. They were undersized, hard-working guys. Now they are bigger and more athletic up front than they've ever been.
McClellan comes from a tiny town here in Idaho, where he played nearly every position in high school, and he's been an emerging star on that D-line. Mitch Burrows is back now to return. He's going to let this take a bounce, and it rolls back just over the 20-yard line. Coming up next, we're going to storm the dorm. And if you don't go to the dorm party, well, they'll take it to you. That's next. Welcome back to Moscow, Idaho. Number 4 up 4 touchdowns. Last night on campus here at Idaho, We checked out what the Vandal students call the mobile block party. It's time to storm the dorm.
Hi everyone, we're here at the University of Idaho in the courtyard between the tower, the McConnell, and the Wallace complex. We're here trying to get everyone rallied up for the BSU versus U of I game.
We're going to have ourselves a mobile block party to go rally the tribe from the north, brave and bold. However, I don't think I'm dressed for game day. I think this gentleman right here is better dressed for game day.
Let's ride the tribes to the north!
Let's go, Vandals! We got
So let me get this straight. They take 15 boom boxes, they put them inside a baby carriage, and they go around from dorm to dorm.
And apparently take a stormtrooper with them.
Seemed like they had a good time. Doug Martin, right up the gut, trying to get to the outside. Doug Martin cuts back and is corralled finally at the 44-yard line by Saavi and Patton.
Running back's got to have vision. Got to have vision, Tess. Watch the vision. Watch him find that hole. And you see it right there to the left. He finds it and hits it in a hurry.
Kellen now able to dump it off to Kyle Efaw. As they continue with that hurry up. Here's Moore. Has time. And that is incomplete. Tyler Shoemaker couldn't hold on to it.
Look, first one that's just a little bit too high. First miss, or first poor throw, I guess, for Kellen Moore. Just a little bit out of Shoemaker's reach. But, you know, Moore's got a lot of time back there. Those ends are not getting close to him. Moore just doesn't get touched at all, it seems.
7 of 9 on the night. And that big 58-yard touchdown pass to Young. Here's 3rd and 7. And Young unable to get the yardage made as Kenneth Patton came up with a stop of Titus Young.
That's a really good play by Patton. A really good play. He had one-on-one out there with Young, had to make that tackle in space and actually got it done. But how about this? You got a 4th and about 1. Guess what Boise State's gonna do here?
And they went for an onside kick when they were up a couple of scores.
You think the blood isn't a little bad between these two places?
Well, it was heated starting back this summer. 4th and 2, and Kellen Moore stays on the field. And now he's going to call a timeout. Yeah. Frustrated as he was looking for the snap from Thomas Bird.
The clock was going down.
And didn't get it, and the play clock was counting down.
30 seconds timeout.
But you can just tell there is a lot going on underneath the surface with these two programs. We talked about the rivalry and all the stuff we heard off season. You know, even Chris Peterson saying, I don't know why we even go there to play. You know, they're leaving the WAC this year, heading to the Mountain West Conference. They don't have it on the schedule. And then you have the pregame little rumble out there, and it just goes crazy from there.
It's very interesting. You know, you brought something up earlier this week as we're getting ready to see Boise on primetime Fridays here for 3 straight weeks. A chance for everybody across the country to say, okay, do they pass the eyeball test as a true national title contender?
Yeah.
Now, be the judge tonight. Sit back and watch. 4th and 2. First down with ease, Austin Pettis.
Well, and Tess, on that point, what you're looking for, when I believe anyway, when you're looking at a non-AQ team, you want to see them dominate teams in their conference. You want them to beat the automatic qualifying schools when they play them. But when they play the non-AQs, you want to see them dominate. You see the breakdown of the computers seem to like TCU much better than Boise State.
You know, TCU got a lot of credit and a big jump with that win over Utah. Kellen, play action, spins. I'm not sure if there are whistles coming from the crowd. I think there may be whistles coming from the crowd here, Rod.
Yeah, they don't sound like they're whistles from the officials, and they come at the wrong time to be that.
There is a whistle in the stands. Please do not use that. Down will be replayed. First down.
So you have a situation where you hear the whistle, and Boise players will react in a way where they may stop.
Yeah.
Listen to this. So you hear the whistles from the crowd, then you hear the officials' whistles. Martin and Avery in the backfield with more here on first down. They go with the screen. Martin. And he's able to get to the 34-yard line. Trayshawn Robinson with the stop.
Now, getting back to the BCS discussion, we saw the Boise State AD, Gene Blameyer, beforehand. He said, hey, you know, one of the things that disturbs him, Boise State doesn't seem to get a lot of credit for the wins last year over TCU and Oregon. He looked at that and says, you know, you look at teams and conferences from the prior year to set them up going into the year, but nobody really talks about what Boise State did against TCU and Oregon last year.
Well, we'll talk more about that point after this 2nd and 5. I think that's something that people will kind of shake their heads at, but we'll explain his point here in a moment as Moore gets it complete for a first down as he's able to hit Kyle Efaw. And what Gene Blameyer was saying is, hey, when you look at the SEC, what happens is they carry a brand name, they carry a reputation based on history.
Right.
Well, look at our recent history, because we feel like we're not getting credit for what we've accomplished and getting that same boost that more established brand name conferences are getting.
Yeah, but the flaw in that thinking, I think, though, is that you got some credit for that when you start the season in the top 5. You do get credit for that. And the SEC brand is a bit stronger, I think,
undoubtedly,
than it is Boise State's.
Here's Kellen again. And a diving effort from Austin Pettis goes incomplete. Tried to hit him in stride. Pettis went after it and couldn't come up with it.
Yeah, Pettis is disappointed. And Pettis believes he should get everything that's anywhere near him. He's got great hands. And he got both of them on that one. Ball comes out when he hits the ground.
He actually got it into his belly. Moore thought it was a touchdown strike.
Well, he's come to expect fantastic catches from Pettis.
He barely knows what incompletions are, Rod. Martin unable to spin free as Martin was wrapped up right away by Benson Mayowa. He's a good rusher. He was only 200 pounds a year ago and put on 39 pounds to have more of a presence on that defensive line.
Yeah, but should you be talking when you're down 28?
No.
I don't think so. I think you make the play, you get up, you go back to the huddle.
Coach Rob Akey was a good defensive end at Weber State. See what Boise can come up with here on 3rd and 10. And Moore overthrows Titus Young.
And Moore took a shot. Lavarian got to him just after he released it, and that's one of the few hits we've seen on Moore tonight. They went empty, so they had no extra protection in the backfield, and he gets a bit of a hit there at the end. That was actually Sadaraka, not Lavarian.
So Kyle Brotzman, who's 9 of 11 on the year, this from 41. And he adds to his total as the all-time leader in field goals made for the Broncos. 31-zip.
ESPN's College Football Primetime. Brought to you by Las Vegas. When the clock ends, the party begins. Las Vegas, overtime guaranteed. Go to visitlasvegas.com.
Rod, this is the real hot spot late night here in Moscow, Idaho. It's called the Moscow Bagel and Deli. They steam bagel sandwiches there.
Wow.
The most popular one is called the Sweaty Teddy.
Oh, come on.
No, the Sweaty Teddy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, turkey, bacon, cream cheese, and sprouts. The Sweaty Teddy.
Hey,
On name alone, I'm a no-go on that. I'm not coming near the Sweaty Teddy. I'll go down another road there at the bagel shop, but
easy on the late night eating, okay?
Harmon's kick here, up 31-zip. Velton. And he's able to get it just to the 20. College football presented by K Jewelers on ABC or ESPN at 3:30. Penn State against number 9 Ohio State. Some of the nation going to see Texas Tech, Oklahoma, or Virginia Tech, North Carolina.
A lot of big games tomorrow. You know, you and I were talking earlier. I am tracking one of those Division III games. How about Williams College against Amherst? Big game. Aaron Kelton's team is undefeated.
I used to drive over to that game.
There you go.
Growing up in upstate New York. It's a great rivalry.
Huge rivalry.
How about you calling out the D3 stuff?
Hey,
the F-men.
Picking it all up.
Williams College. That's a great setting for college football. Enderle. And that is incomplete as he really tried to force the issue to Monty Johnson, and Brandon Thompson had good coverage.
Well, you know, they've got a problem. They have nothing they can go to right now. Boise State is sitting on everything short. They don't have confidence to throw deep because they've been picked off and couldn't get behind them. And now Enderle is kind of a sitting duck. I think you got to move the pocket. You got to get him out. He's not a runner, but you got to change the launch point a little bit because this defensive line is just firing off after him.
Enderle, this time able to connect to Johnson, and Johnson picks up the first down for the Vandals.
Now, you see, they're using quick passes, 3-step, to try to negate that pass rush right now. That only works to a certain extent. I mean, Boise State's going to sit on that stuff and drive on it. You're going to have to find a way to move him and get him a chance to put the ball down the field.
Rob Akey would be happy just to see his team string together a couple first downs here. The screen now, Vital, and Billy Wynn was on top of Vital. Ray Bentley's working the game for our 3D coverage. He's our field level analyst. Ray, what have you been seeing down there?
The same thing you've been seeing from up there, Joe. This Boise State team is really taking care of business. I don't think they're as sharp as I've seen them yet tonight, but they're still awful good.
How about that defensive line and the pressure that they keep putting on Enderle, Ray?
Yeah, Rod, you nailed it. We talked in the meeting, and you were saying how you thought Billy Wynn was a guy that was a difference maker. I think Winterswijk is another one. These guys are top-notch college football players that are definite NFL prospects.
There's Veltung on the end around, and he is wrestled down by Jerron Johnson.
Well, here's a point we were talking about, that defense. How about that speed? That looked like Velton was going to go a long way, and up comes Johnson with the proper angle to turn that into a short gain.
That's what I love about this Boise defense, is the speed and then the tenacity that they combine with that speed. They fly around the field, and they get a lot of hats to the football, and I think that's what makes them so good.
Good stuff, Ray.
All right, thanks, guys.
And it's Ray Bentley, who's the field level analyst for ESPN 3D. Enderle now, and that is overthrown as he was looking for Maurice Shaw. Pressure came from Billy Wynn.
Nobody's open.
Now you got that big guy right there, 290 pounds of Billy Wynn coming after you, and a good coverage from that defensive backfield. As once again the Vandals will be punting away. Bobby Cohen Remember, Chris Potter started things off with a 76-yard punt return, and now Mitch Burrows has taken over those duties, up 31-zip. Let's take a look at our coverage spotlight, brought to you by Travelers Insurance.
Well, Tess, it's really been about that Boise State defense, whether it's been up front with that defensive line or the speed from that secondary coming up to make plays. They've harassed Enderle in the backfield. They've shut down the running game. They've picked off passes. They've done everything to completely cover and shut down this high passing offense.
Second nationally in sacks, second in scoring defense. Tonight here pitching the shutout so far. They've got depth. They have talents. They get to the ball.
Keep in mind that offense for Idaho came in 22 touchdown passes, 328 yards a game.
Here's a fake now as the up back. Bailey takes it, and here goes Bailey. Good call by the Vandals as Bailey brings it all the way down to the 21-yard line. It's going to take something like that for them to break through and get on the board.
Well, we talked about it. We talked about taking chances, that's what you have to do, and how this team was really dispirited, and that Akey said he needed to come up with things to change momentum. Fake, simple, snap to the up back. Boise State caught off guard. That's Bailey on the run there.
Chris Peterson, who prides himself in being so buttoned up with special teams, giving up the 39-yard run there on that fake punt. McCarty now. And now a surge to the 15-yard line for Princeton. McCarty tackled by George Iloka.
And McCarty has been playing through bumps and bruises. He's not 100%, but looked good on that last run.
Akey, who took over Dennis Erickson when Erickson left to take the job at Arizona State. Coming off a successful year, a few struggles here this year, and now this uphill battle against Boise for the Vandals. There's the shovel pass to McCarty. And McCarty inside the 10 and spins down to the 8-yard line where Iloka wrapped him up. A good effort by Princeton McCarty.
And that's a nice little wrinkle. That play looked like it was going to go to the right, a shovel pass to the right side, but McCarty winds up taking it to the left. Now, they look like they set this up to go to the right. And here comes McCarty back to the left, catching Boise State inside.
So a first and goal for the Vandals. Enderle just beyond McCarty. He had pressure coming off the edge, and he tried to get it to his slot back. Pressure came from Winston Venable.
Well, there it is out there. You see Venable coming from that outside. They bring him. He's a nickel back.
That
fifth defensive back. Oh, Venable packs a wallet.
Venable came in from one side. Chase Baker got him up top as Enderle has to readjust his helmet and chin strap. Second and goal now.
6'6" Greenwood, top of the screen against Taylor. Taylor goes about 5'10".
Looking for the fade here, and a miscommunication as Preston Davis nowhere to be found. And this red zone defense for Boise has been truly exceptional, Rod.
Yeah, they've been great. I mean, basically less than 50% of the time, they make you go without points. I mean, they get off the field.
Yeah, it's unheard of. But Chris Peterson has seen his team on the rare occurrence this year when opposing teams do get into the red zone. 53% is all that opposing offenses are producing in terms of coming away with any form of points. And now third and goal. And that goes incomplete. As Armani Johnson was covered by Jamar Taylor, the crowd wanted to see a flag there, but instead it'll be 4th down.
Yeah, Johnson goes 6'4", and he was working against Taylor. Taylor did a nice job of squeezing Johnson to the sideline, using the sideline to make sure he couldn't get by him. Now they're locked up right there. Gave him a little push, but the ball wasn't in the air when he gave him a little push. Here they go.
So 4th and goal from the 8. And that clock hits zeros.
Delay of game. Offense, 5 yards. 4th down.
Agee said, don't look over here. Go. Go. What good is a field goal going to do right now? This is a tough area. You can bet you'll get some pressure. Boise State loves to dial it up.
Enderle with Bailey in the backfield here on 4th and goal. Some pressure now. Venable off the edge to the end zone. Incomplete. And that Boise defense holds.
Now remember, they had 1st and goal. And Boise State shut them out.
And look at how red-faced Rob Akey is. He is irate as his team comes up empty there after that 39-yard fake punt that put them in position.
Well, everything has to happen faster because of the pressure. Slow developing route as Green was trying to work on Thompson, but the pressure is there by then. You cannot have a slow developing route when they're bringing 6.
Kellen Moore now. Complete over the middle as he connects with Austin Pettis.
Right on the money.
It's what he does time and time again. Number 1 in the country in passer rating, Kellen Moore. Pettis last week became Boise's all-time reception leader. Play action, pressure now. Moore steps up. And Young could not hang on to it.
Tess, did you see there was no hesitation by Moore in where to go with the football? He knew exactly where Young would be. That's the kind of smarts we're talking about. When he gets pushed out here to his right, watch what he does. He doesn't hesitate. He comes right back and lets it fly. He knows exactly where every receiver will be because he reads the coverages so well.
It's like having a coach on the field. Aaron Lavaris put that hit on Kellen Moore, but Young could have come up with that ball. 2nd and 10 now. Option, and they go to Avery. I don't think Kellen Moore is much of a threat to hold on to that ball in the option to the short side of the field, Rod.
That's not one of his favorite plays, I'm sure. He's going to get rid of this one in a hurry. He doesn't really attack the edge with a whole lot of heart there.
Andre Ferguson didn't even get within 3 steps of him before he pitched that ball to Jeremy Avery. I think Kellen has a good sense of his identity, doesn't he?
Got to know who you are.
Well, he'll know who he is here on 3rd and 9. Pressure. Escapes it. And Pettis is going to be short of that 1st down, but the catch comes in as he was able to tiptoe that near sideline. Pressure came from Alvarez again. It's a good effort by Pettis.
He looked like he lifted the right foot to make sure that his left foot was in, and that was going to get.
Previous play is under review.
Another once over, because he was really close to the sideline there.
Yeah, he was short of the 1st down regardless as Rob Akey talks things over with the WAC officials. We'll step aside. Boise up 31-zip. Welcome back to Moscow, Idaho. Joe Tessitore and Rod Gilmore with you here as the 4th-ranked team in the country has been sharp tonight. This is what they're reviewing.
Yeah, pass was ruled complete. Reviewing it to see if that right foot was actually out of bounds. From our angle, hard to tell. We saw the black pellets come up. There are so many black pellets on this field, more so than we've ever seen in our lives.
Yeah, when we were with Chris Peterson yesterday at the walkthrough, he was kicking them around, and you see this field here. It's as if it's shaded black, as those rubber pellets are just everywhere. They got to be like twice the amount as what we're used to seeing. And Rod, also, this is an older version of the field turf. It doesn't have the high blades of the artificial grass.
Exactly.
So those pellets are more prominent.
Exactly. This is the old school stuff. You'd see it kick up every time somebody made a cut.
Look at that.
A lot of that, yeah. And it's hard to tell if you have indisputable video evidence when you kick up the pellets, because you don't really know where the foot is. You're basing your judgment, I think, on the pellets and not what you see with the foot.
It's a long review by this WAC officiating crew.
Well, I think that's kind of what they're looking at. They saw the pellets come up, and
After further review, the pass is ruled incomplete. So we'll make it 4th down, 4th and 9 from the 35-yard line.
It was going to be 4th down either way.
yeah. So, you look at those pellets and you go, well, all that's being kicked up, so he must be out of bounds.
So Boise will send Trevor Harmon on to punt. Yeah, how about this for a stat as to how good their offense is? This is only their 19th punt of the season. Trevor Harmon's 6th punt of the year for him. 9 games in and only your 19th punt of the season.
That's not a lot of work.
That offense just keeps rolling. Harmon kicks away to Bailey. And it takes a good Boise bounce. Well, if you're only going to do that 19 times, you may as well make it count. 64-yard punt down to the 1-yard line. Hey, we invite you every Sunday to join us for the BCS Countdown Show, presented by Allstate, Sundays at 8:15 on ESPN, and then we move it over to ESPNU at 9 o'clock. So that's where you can get the exclusive unveiling of the new BCS rankings every week. And this week, you can watch Rod Gilmore on it as Rod will join Reese and Craig James.
Yeah, Kirk Herbstreit will do his usual appearance from a remote location. And Heismanology, you going to join us?
I have a feeling this week's Heismanology is going to be a little intense as this news of Cam Newton continues to roll in. We'll see how that plays out. McCarty with a gain of 2. We'll see what happens tomorrow in college football. Obviously a big day with Auburn against Georgia and Oregon and Cal. Who knows? Maybe we could have a big shakeup on top of those BCS standings.
And maybe even in the Heisman race. Is it fair to say Kellen Moore is probably running 3rd right now?
Well, he's running 2nd right now in our most recent polling. He received a first-place vote, actually, which broke a streak that Cam Newton had for a month in our polling of official voters. Here's McCarty again, and it's a good, hard run. Still carrying Broncos out across to the 21-yard line. So some breathing room for Idaho. You know, we watched Kellen Moore tonight, and obviously a game where they're up big. He's 12 of 18, 146, had that spectacular touchdown. But, Rod, I'll tell you this. If things go south with the Cam Newton news, if he's obviously ineligible, it's all over. But even if there's enough reporting out there that continues to place doubts with voters, Kellen Moore is going to be the recipient of a lot of that support.
You really think so?
I do. And that's where things are starting to trend when we survey our voters. Well, Michael James obviously very much in the mix as McCarty loses a yard here. But what we're starting to see, as there's a War Eagle supporter all the way up here in Moscow, Idaho. What we're starting to see, Rod, is that a lot of Heisman voters don't want to experience what just happened with the Reggie Bush situation.
Well, but still, you know, that's premature in my view. These are still allegations,
yes.
And nothing's been proven. And, you know, you do have the fail-safe. You now have the precedent of Reggie Bush having given back his Heisman. So you don't have to worry, well, gee, what do you do if you find out later? Well, you've got precedent out there.
The worst-case scenario would be for people to not vote for an eligible Cam Newton and then later for him to be acquitted, for him to be clean of all these allegations and charges as Greenwood gets a 9-yard gain there. But it's the big three right now in the Heisman chase. It's Cam, it's LaMichael, and it's Moore. That next tier down, they're a step behind. You could have a year here where only these three guys are invited to New York. Now, I think Andrew Luck and Andy Dalton are getting themselves in the mix, but it has been the big three for a month.
Well, November is typically when we see the move and the separation. So those other two guys, Andrew Luck, Andy Dalton, will have an opportunity to get into the mix, particularly if something does happen with Cam Newton.
There's a 3rd and 1. Enderle. And that goes incomplete. And just to wrap up the conversation, Rod, on Cam Newton and the allegations and what the effect it has on Heisman voters. When we surveyed Heisman voters midweek as the news really started to pour in on this, 50% of those that were questioned said that my vote for Cam Newton is pending further information.
Wow.
I think there's still a lot that people want to learn of what's going on with these allegations.
Wow. That presumption of innocence has kind of gone by the wayside in society.
It's the world we live in. We will have Heisman winner Tim Brown join us in the 3rd quarter to discuss more on this. Burrows fields it at the 27. Mitch Burrows cuts back into the 36. Let's check in with Reese Davis in the studio for a look at what's coming up on the Wendy's halftime report. Hello, Reese.
Hello, Joe, and we will have the very latest on the Cameron Newton situation at the moment. Still planning to be in the lineup when Auburn takes on Georgia tomorrow. The Tigers, one of 4 undefeated teams remaining in college football, who ought to be on upset alert. We'll see what Dr. Lou and Mayday have to say about that, and we'll also take you out to Columbus, Ohio. Ohio State getting set to take on Penn State. That's where College Game Day is. Chris Fowler and the guys will join us at halftime as well.
All right, thanks, Reese. Yeah, what a game Reese had last night.
Oh, wow.
They're at Rentschler Field with Randy Edsall's club coming up with a big win over Pitt. Here's Kellen now. Titus Young, nothing doing. Good play that time by Siaba E. and Andre Ferguson.
How about Randy Edsall going for it on 4th and 1 in his own territory in the 4th quarter and being able to run out the clock and get a win?
Now they're finally playing like the UConn team everybody was expecting to see. Doug Martin, and a flag comes in as he was smashed by Aaron Grimes.
Big emotion. 82 offense. Not set on the play. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Geraldo Hewat.
You know, I've not seen any quit in this Idaho team.
No.
I mean, particularly this defense. Notwithstanding what Boise State's done to them, this defense is still flying around and trying to hit people, hit hard. They're getting after it, even though Boise State's really kind of taking it to them.
2 straight tackles for loss from that Vandals defense. 3rd and 12. And a flag comes in. I think this is going to be a face mask as Aaron Lavares has been getting after Kellen Moore, but he got a piece of the face mask.
Grabbing the face mask. Number 95. Defense. 15-yard penalty. Automatic 1st down.
Vandals defense was fired up on that series, but unfortunately the penalty is going to give Boise a 1st down against them.
Well, you see the relentless nature by Lavares to get past 2 blockers. He just grabs too much of the face mask there.
And he was able to get past Wright and Nate Potter. So here's Moore on 1st down, and he is able to get it complete to Tyler Shoemaker.
What did Kellen Moore tell us yesterday? That he was recruited or offered by Idaho and Eastern Washington and Boise State, the only 3 schools, and each of them has a little different, unique situation.
Yeah, he could play here in the 16,000-seat Kibbe Dome. He could play on the inferno of the red turf at Eastern Washington. He ends up on the blue turf at Boise. The oddest 3 schools in terms of home fields you could be recruited by.
That's a trifecta.
Kellen now on 2nd and 1, and they pick up the first down with Mitch Burrows to the 32-yard line. Just 33 seconds remain in the half as they're looking for more. Kellen wants more.
A chance to work their 2-minute drill and see if they can get points before halftime.
And he connects downfield, this time to Hewat.
And he got that ball out of there before Hewat made his turn to get back around there. Clock running, couple of timeouts left for Boise State.
And he clocks the ball with 2 timeouts remaining. So Chris Peterson will gather the troops and talk things over. I wonder if Kellen's thinking, hey, I may get pulled from this game at some point. I need to get things done now. There is the outstanding career of Kellen Moore.
Yeah, almost 10,000 passing yards already. 29 games of 200 yards or more, 85 touchdown passes. And he will continue to add to that. He's got another season after this one.
507 yards last week for Kellen Moore. And I thought Coach Peterson had a great quote yesterday when he said, you know, he's the only player that's so smart that he sees things before the coaches do.
Yeah, he will do that a lot. He'll come back to them and tell them, hey, here's what's going on out there. And they go, oh, yeah, you know, you're right.
Well, ESPN's College Game Day, built by the Home Depot, will start off your Saturday with Chris Lee, Kirk, and Desmond. Kirk visit Happy Valley. They'll talk about Oregon's speed, just how fast is that Oregon offense. Tom Rinaldi with Mac Brown. Hear what the Longhorn boss has to say about their struggles. Plus the latest on Cam Newton. 20 seconds to go here. Broncos looking for more. Kellen. And he gets it to Jeremy Avery for the score. Kellen Moore to Jeremy Avery, a 17-yard touchdown reception.
Well, this is just a wheel route out of the backfield. He waits for Avery to get out there. He's got him one-on-one with the linebacker Robinson. That's a mismatch, and that's 6 points.
And Brotzman caps the scoring drive.
That's an effective use of that 2-minute drive. And Avery in the backfield. Watch him come out around. He gets hooked up one-on-one coverage. That ball thrown a little bit to the wrong shoulder, but a great adjustment by Avery to come up with it.
So 195 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. No interceptions in this first half for Kellen Moore. This is the month that Chris Peterson said we're going to show people what we're all about. Said everything's been building towards November. It's a November where they will be showcased 3 consecutive weeks here on the Friday night primetime game.
Well, and he will not lobby for Boise State. He's never done it in the past, and he won't do it now. He says, you know something? We just play. We play now. There's a lot of football left. We just play.
You know what his lobbying is? That 3 and that 8 up on the scoreboard.
You know, I asked him about TCU and some things Gary Patterson has said about lobbying. He said, you know, that didn't help. He says, you know what helped? TCU went to Utah and they put a whooping on him. And he said that spoke to a lot of voters. And that's what he wants his team to do. He's not going to lobby. He wants to go out and play and show people what they have.
Now they're showing Idaho what they have. 40th meeting between these two. It could be the last one ever. And as the squib kick is beautifully played out, Veltung finally able to get it. And still on his feet. Reversing field here. And unable to do anything with it as 3 seconds remain. And our Life's Good flashback is brought to you by LG. It's a look back at last year, how Boise bookended their season with signature wins. Of course, the season opener against number 16 Oregon. Remember, they held Oregon to 8 points in that game. Then the Fiesta Bowl. The matchups of undefeated, the fake punt on a 4th and 9, Kyle Efall, and they go on to beat TCU 17-10 to close out the unbeaten year. And the beat goes on and on and on for Coach Pete. Very impressive stuff here up at Moscow. 38-zip for Kellen and company. Now let's join Reese, Lou, and Mark back in the studio for the Wendy's halftime report. Gentlemen. We welcome you back to Moscow, Idaho, home of the Vandals, being shut out here by the 4th-ranked team in the country. Glad you're with us here on Friday Night Primetime. Joe Tessitore alongside Rod Gilmore. When we started this broadcast, you talked about 2 things. You talked about defense of Boise, and you talked about the intensity of the rivalry. Both of those showing up in our game track, brought to you by Fidelity Investments.
Well, it started actually before the game, pregame activities. A lot of chippiness out there. You had the Boise State players and also the Idaho players out at midfield. Got kind of chippy, a lot of talking, a few fireworks, and then when the game started, boy, did the big plays happen and the fireworks. Chris Potter takes back a punt return. Martin just runs over KO to get things going. And how about Jaron Johnson with a blocked kick? Boise State recovers, and the defense then took over. A couple of sacks, a couple of picks. All Boise in the first half.
And they will get the ball to start things here. Jeremy Avery. And Avery, here he goes. Jeremy Avery taken down by the kicker past midfield. That was Trey Farquhar, the sophomore kicker, with the tackle. Let's check in with Ray Bentley down at field level. Ray?
Hey, Joe, I talked to Coach Rob Akey of the Vandals at halftime, and he was not pleased, as you might imagine, with the performance of his team. He said he didn't like the look in their eye. He hadn't seen that before, and he got on them pretty good. And he said, hey, the whole Vandal Nation is out here watching. How are we going to respond in the second half? He said we grabbed a little momentum with that fake play, the fake punt, but then didn't do anything with it. So we'll see how they respond here in the second half.
Doug Martin down to the 37th. Of course, Ray, the field level analyst for ESPN 3D, which is broadcasting this game here tonight. Glad to have Ray with us. In fact, Tim Brown is the analyst up in the booth for ESPN 3D. He'll be joining us, the Heisman Trophy winner and Notre Dame legend. As you see those 3D, you guys see the 2 lenses there, Rod.
It's pretty serious. That's
the
a
left
big lens.
And the right lens.
Wow. That and the glasses, the whole deal.
2nd and 2. Here's Martin again, and here goes Martin. Off to the races goes Doug Martin. Touchdown, Boise. 2 plays into the second half. Well, that didn't take long. So they start the second half just like they started the first half. Instant scoring.
Oh, Will Lawrence pulled from the right side to the left side, got in front, great block, and then all Martin.
And Brotzman adds to his total. Big night from Doug Martin. He has pounded his way in, running over Shiloh Keogh, and he has run past them. 45 zip now. watching college football in 3D. It is spectacular. Truly a viewing experience like nothing you have ever seen. And tonight they've seen plenty of that guy, Doug Martin, every which way.
Well, Martin's gotten a little bit of help from his guys up front. That offensive line has done a great job tonight.
Here's Veltung. And Justin Veltung is taken down at the 17.
Hey, Tess, let's go back to the touchdown and take a look at that offensive line in action. Watch the blocking up there, and then you're going to have Wright pull around to lead Martin into the hole. And between Lawrence, 59, and Wright, 75, you get great jump, good blocking, and now you just have to break one block, break one tackle. And that's an arm tackle. See a VE trying to get one hand in there, and Doug Martin is not going to be held down by one hand.
There's Bailey, and we are glad we talk about 3D tonight. Here's the star of the 3D broadcast right here.
Hey, star wherever he goes, you know.
Tim Brown.
How are you guys?
Welcome to the flat world. Welcome to Flat Stanley over here on
TV over here. What are you guys doing?
You took off the glasses and you get to join us for a bit. We're glad to have you, Tim. You know, I don't know what more to say when you look at this Boise team. Now, you've seen them. You saw them last week. You've done Auburn games with me earlier this year. You've done Oregon. Every bit the part of a title contending team, aren't they?
Oh, no doubt about it. You know, it's just amazing to me that people won't give these guys their credit. I mean, this is a great football team. They're not a good football team. They're a great football team. And for people to constantly say that, oh, they don't deserve to be there, it just blows me away.
Well, I'm curious about your evaluation of their two great receivers, Young and Pettis. You've seen them a few times. What are your thoughts about them?
Well, I think these guys are as pro-ready as any receivers I've seen so far this year. I mean, the thing I love about Pettis, he's a big guy, but he loves to catch the ball with his hands. He's not a guy who wants to put the ball in his body. And this doggone Young, man, Titus, man, I was talking to him a little bit down the field. He is just so excited about playing football. You know, he's turning kickoffs. He does anything the team asks him to do. But when he gets on the football field and they call his number, he can outrun anybody and get down the field. So I love watching these guys play.
Bailey's got nowhere to go on 3rd and 1. You know, it's funny, Tim, because you and I were there for the Virginia Tech game and their season opener. And I remember we went to practice, and Titus Young, you talk about that enthusiasm. He was so excited just to walk up to you and try to get a few pointers. He does have that natural spirit about him being a competitor.
It's a great thing to see. You know, you hear so many negative stories sometimes about players, but these guys love to step on the field. They love to compete and love to show people. And I've been saying on our broadcast that these guys play with a chip on their shoulders. They come in, they have something to prove every night. They know they can't win a game 28-21 and that be good enough. They have to win games like this in order to impress people, and they're willing to go out and do that.
That's a high standard. Go out every week and blow somebody out.
Here's another fake punt, and once again it's Bailey. This has been the best offense for Idaho tonight. Bailey on fake punt runs, and once again it goes for a big gainer.
How about that? Boise State's getting a bit of their own medicine.
Yeah, and it's basically the same play, the same fake they ran in the first half, with Bailey, the up back, getting the snap and breaking one off here. Same play. They just run it this way to the right again, and he makes a couple of guys miss. Not quite enough to get it to the house, but a big gainer.
That's a huge play for them.
54-yarder. He went for 39 earlier. I mean, that's been the offense so far. Those the two fake punts.
Yeah, but you know, it didn't help them last time. This defense, and you know, this defense seems to play with a lot of emotion, a lot of energy, and a lot of speed.
First charge timeout.
And it's these kind of things that hurts Idaho. You know, you have the momentum, and you can't even come out and line up. You know, you have to call a timeout. So that hurts tremendously.
All right, Tim. So we were talking about Titus Young and Austin Pettis. You, one of the greatest receivers of all time. You break these guys down for us.
Well, you know, I just think these guys are great. I mean, Titus runs the deep post route better than any receiver I've seen in recent years. And when you look at Austin Pettis, his ability to make plays with his hands, guy's always going to catch the ball with his hands, and he has the ability to get upfield and make something happen. You know, the one catch he dropped the one pass he dropped, he had his hands turned the wrong way. I'll talk to him about that a little later. We'll work on that. But these guys are just, I mean, they are everything that you want in receivers. Big, strong, fast, and they're competitive, and that's the main thing you want to see.
So Idaho with a fresh set of downs after the fake punt went for 54 yards. Here is McCarty.
Well, it's that front. We talked about this last night. That front line, defensive line for Boise State, really good up front.
You know, the thing I love about them defensively, they are so aggressive. They play offensive, defensive football, if it is such a thing, where they are not going to sit back and catch with 4 people. Situation like this, they're going to bring 5 people and try and put pressure on your running back or your quarterback.
Chase Baker and Winterswijk and Venable all getting after it here. Bailey the lone back here. Play action, pressure again, and he was able to get it to Michael LaGrone, a backup tight end. You were talking about that Austin Pettis drop earlier. Here
If you watch, his hands are turned the wrong way. He should have his hands underneath instead, because you only have one chance to catch the ball there. If you have your hands, now you can volleyball the ball to yourself and maybe have a second shot at it. But right there, you got one shot. And if you don't get it, that's what's going to happen. But he's so good with his ball skills when the ball is in the air near him that this guy thinks he can catch a ball any kind of way. So, and most of the time he does catch it.
Enderle on 3rd and 6. Going for it here. And coming up with it, Eric Greenwood with the touchdown. So finally they break through.
Well, guys, I've been saying up front, why don't they just throw Greenwood a fade route?
Yeah,
just throw the guy.
Yeah, well, you know, he's 6'6", going against a 5'10" corner. You know, you got a chance there. And that time, Taylor, he lost contact with Greenwood. At the end, he looks back, and he loses contact with the receiver and the ball and kind of gives up on the play. Greenwood all over him there. I like those hands there.
You know, when you're in the end zone, you got to get your hands on the ball any kind of way you can. But, you know, I still would prefer guys to let the ball come over because it's a lot easier, simpler catch for you.
So Idaho gets on the board. More to come with Tim Brown, Rod Gilmore here in Moscow when we return.
ESPN's College Football Primetime, brought to you by Lexus. This is the pursuit of tomorrow. This is the pursuit of perfection.
That is Main Street in Moscow, Idaho. Home to the University of Idaho, just 8 miles east of Pullman, Washington. Home to the Pac-10's Washington State Cougars. 45-7 as 6'6" senior Eric Greenwood hauled in the touchdown pass. That was set up on the fake punt run by Bailey to put them in position. And now here is Gavins from his end zone. Terrell Gavins taken down at the 21. Having a nice visit with Heisman Trophy winner Notre Dame legend Tim Brown, who's here in Idaho to call the game with ESPN 3D. Well, Tim, it's been an interesting week in terms of Heisman talk. Yeah, whatever happened to the good old days back in the 80s when you were winning? Hey, just, everybody played some football and we voted at the end of the year.
Exactly.
What are you making of this Cam Newton situation?
Well, you know, I told someone today that I hope this stuff is true, because if not, they have ruined this man's character, you know. So, and obviously you don't want it to be true, but how can stuff like this get out and it not be true, you know? So it's a very interesting situation, but, you know, I think Auburn and Cam, they're doing the right thing now. There's no reason to talk if you don't have an excuse or anything of that nature. Just let the thing die and let it go about it.
Yeah, we were just, Rod and I were discussing that earlier. So here are the clear big three, the front runners for this race. I mean, you have a vote.
Yes.
You take part in our Heisman survey I do every week. And where do you stand? Is this news affecting your vote as it stands right now? Or are you waiting to hear more?
No, I have to hear a lot more, because, you know, I think what they're doing, they're trying to bring his father into this deal. And that doesn't affect Cam. I know it does affect Cam, but in my opinion, until they tell me Cam asked for money, I'm not going to be affected by this at all. I'm just going to go with the flow and go by what I see on the field.
Doug Martin with the run there.
Well, let me ask you this. Let's assume that there is no resolution by the time you have to vote. Would you take the position that, well, nothing's been proven and you're going to go based on what Cam has done, and if he's the leader, he's your leader?
If he's my leader at that particular time. And I love Kellen and what he's doing with this Boise State team. But if Cam Moore is my guy, I will vote him as my guy because I just think, it's very easy for people to put this kind of stuff out there about you. And the more you talk about it, the more people believe that there's something to it. So I think they're doing the right thing now, just shutting up and let this thing just go by the wayside because eventually I think it will.
3rd and 4 now, and that is incomplete as he was trying to get it to Shoemaker. The one thing here is that the news cycle is happening so fast, almost in half-day increments. We keep hearing more and more. I wouldn't be surprised if we wake up tomorrow morning and there's major breaking news.
But you're not getting any facts.
Right.
You are getting more allegations and more stories, but you're not getting anything concrete to make any decision on.
And that's the thing that just blows me away because, hey, guys, by the grace of God go thee, because I didn't handle any of my recruiting, any of the agents, any of that stuff. That was all handled by my brother. Now, if my brother would have done something illegal, I wouldn't have known anything about it.
Yeah,
I would have been implicated.
And by the way, you would have been ineligible.
That's exactly
right. That's the NCAA rule. So regardless if Cam is in the dark or not on this, the fact that his father could be is where the concern is. Here's Shiloh Keogh. And Keogh out across to the 21-yard line.
Well, this is the one point I've been making about $100,000, $200,000. You can't hide $200,000, especially if you never had it.
Yeah, it went somewhere.
You can't hide that. I mean, there's no one. They can't give them. What, they going to give them a check? Well, they got to cash it somewhere, so they'll know that. You can't get $200,000 cash out the bank these days without the FBI.
That's why the FBI is involved at this point, because they're following the money.
That kind of money can be. If they were telling me that Cam was getting $3,000 a month, he had a car, now that kind of stuff you can't hide. But you're not going to tell me that somebody can hide a $100,000, $180,000 check. That can't happen.
Anderle back to work now. And he goes across the middle into just a swarming group of defensive players for the Broncos.
Well, we're watching Anderle out here, and he's been considered a guy with NFL talent and the like. He's struggled. What do you do now to get him right? He's had a terrible night, couple of picks, throwing late, hasn't seen things. Is there a way to get him right now?
Well, when he got hit in the back by Route early in the game, he was done. I mean, after that, he was not going to stand in the pocket and wait for somebody to come open. You saw even there he had jittery feet. But they have to throw quick routes, something that they can get the ball out of his hand very quickly and get him more confidence, and hopefully he'll pick this thing up a little bit.
Anderle now, and he just tried to get over the top of Gerald Root to his intended target, Taylor Elmo. They really miss the tight end Daniel Hardy, the senior tight end. Not being on the field here is a big loss for them.
Well, he stretches the field for them. It gives them that 4 vertical that they like to have. And when you're missing that makes it tougher. And I also think, quick passes, great, that'll help. But they know where he is. I mean, move the pocket a little bit. Give him a chance to get out and see it instead of being there and being a sitting duck.
Well, the other problem he has is the other receivers. Greenwood has played fairly well tonight. The other receivers have dropped ball after ball after ball. And that to a quarterback who is struggling already, now he's trying to find that one guy that he thinks can make a play for him.
Anderle being chased down, and J.P. Nisby gets to him.
Yeah. See, that's the problem there. He's sitting in that same spot, and they're teeing off and going after him. And you're right, he doesn't have a whole lot of confidence in guys down the field. He's holding that ball a little bit long, too.
Yeah, I think at this point he's saying, okay, I'm not going to throw a pick. I'll just take the sack because, that's a lot better than the coach. And Akey is not a coach who's going to, just let you go by the wayside. He's got some words for you when you come to the sideline.
So Anderle off to the sideline again. And this time they will punt it away as Potter is back out there. Remember, he had the big return earlier. This he takes from just inside the 30 and is taken down to 41. Hey, Tim, what a pleasure it was to have you swing by.
I'm on regular TV.
You come over to flat TV. Get yourself back to three-dimensional TV.
Tim Brown. I appreciate it.
Timmy's going to be with me for the Fiesta Bowl and the BCS National Title game we're going to be calling in 3D. Can't wait for that. More to come from Idaho. Stay with us. University of Idaho, Moscow, Idaho. where Boise is up by 38. Saturday night, ESPN delivers an SEC showdown. South Carolina and Florida. College football primetime presented by Hampton Hotels. 7:15 Eastern. You got the SEC title for the East Division on the line here, Ryan.
How badly does South Carolina need Marcus Lattimore to be healthy and back on the field? He, sprained knee, slowed him down.
Huge difference maker.
Ooh, man.
Winner of that game will head to the SEC title game. They'll take the East and find out how it plays out tomorrow night. Here's Kellen on play action. He's going to go deep, looking for Young. And the flag comes in.
I think that flag should be on Young.
Aaron Grimes had coverage there.
Young was pushing off on Grimes as they were going down the field. The ball was in the air. He used his left hand to get separation.
Pass interference. Defense number 10. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
In pass interference, the toughest call. And watch, look at the push-off. Look at the push-off you got there. I don't know how you call that.
Yeah, it's not on number 10. It's number 6, Aaron Grimes.
But Grimes did nothing here. He was the one being pushed off. Look at that. He's pushed off, and then you just have Young going down to the ground.
That's a bad call.
It's horrible.
It's a bad call. Avery coming around from that slot. And here goes Avery. Jeremy Avery speeding down to the 20-yard line. And Avery and Martin on the field together is a dangerous combination.
Well, they've got that 1-2 punch. Avery not as powerful as Martin, but very quick. Watch him stick that left foot in the ground and get up the field. He makes that cut. He just moves.
23-yard gain from Avery.
That offense is so good. They don't need pass interference calls, bad calls to help them out.
And now play action. Kellen sold it beautifully. Now being chased, airs it out. And the back of the end zone. What a catch by Gabe Linehan. Kellen put it where only Linehan could get it, and he does.
Back of the end zone. Watch the feet. He got them both in. He got left and right pitter-pat. Great catch. Left foot down, right foot down. 6 points.
Gabe Linehan, whose uncle Scott Linehan was a quarterback here at Idaho. Of course, went on to be an NFL coach.
Let me ask you this. Kellen Moore done for the night now?
Well, Rod, he's got 3 touchdowns. You're up 52-7. Comes that time when Coach Peterson has to make a decision. Kellen heads to the phone. And tomorrow he can take a day off and watch some college football. Saturday afternoon, ABC and ESPN. Big Ten game, Penn State on the road against Terrell Pryor and the Buckeyes. College football presented by K Jewelers on ABC or ESPN at 3:30. Summer you're going to see Texas Tech, Oklahoma, or Virginia Tech, North Carolina.
Not enough attention on Terrell Pryor. I mean, he's grown as a quarterback. He's a much better pocket passer, completing 70% of his passes from the pocket. I think he's really grown, matured as a quarterback. Great news to hear that he's coming back to Ohio State next season, not going to the NFL.
You know, I really think that's the beauty of college football compared to college basketball, is that you see the stars develop and right through 3 or 4 year careers, and you stick with it. The continuing development, storylines, and progress. And you know, a talent of Terrell Pryor's level, think about how he was coming out of high school and where he was. If he was a basketball player, he's 6 months and done. Somebody at that level of talent.
Well, and he's really made himself into a much better quarterback. Remember, he was a guy run first. Now he's a pocket guy, and there have been games where he didn't even run. He just stood in the pocket and threw the football.
Justin Veltung. And Veltung with a good return out to the 32. Well, we talked about it earlier, Rod. Fans out there, you be the judge. You watch this Boise team, and you ask yourself, the way they play ball, are they worthy of being in the talk? Where do you rank them when it comes to that BCS, those top 4 teams that are all trying to position themselves for that title game? Oregon, Auburn, TCU, and Boise. And here is Davis trying to chug ahead and get through that tackle. He gets out to the 38.
You know, it's not to say that TCU isn't deserving. It's just that TCU has been in the news lately, and they've had the high profile. Boise State gets an opportunity over the next 3 weeks to be in the national limelight and be seen and show what they can do.
Anderle, broken play, and he is taken down. And that was Tyron Crawford. Well, you talk about TCU and Auburn and Boise and the difference in schedules. And the Boise and TCU schedule in terms of Sagarin's ratings of schedule strength are comparable. Obviously, Auburn playing an SEC slate. I bet you people would think Auburn's strength of schedule would be higher.
Exactly. Yeah, and you start talking 62, 72, and, you know, pretty close. The thing about Boise State, their defense has been good for a while. Not just this season, last year, and it's been overlooked because of their offense.
Anderle on 3rd and 11, and that is nowhere to be found.
When you think about the Boise State defense beating up TCU last year, shutting down an Oregon team that was really, really good last year, and that Oregon team is also really good this year. A matchup with this Boise State defense against some of those teams worth watching.
Did TCU get too much credit for the Utah win, and did Boise not get enough credit for beating Hawaii 42-7?
Well, in my opinion, you're not a top 10 team if you lose at home by 40.
So you think Utah's ranking was a little fraudulent to begin with?
Absolutely.
Chris Potter now. And Potter a little shake and bake. Good return man he is. We saw earlier with the 76-yard punt return. Kellen Moore's night, Rod.
Big night. Big night for Kellen Moore. The Heisman Trophy candidate has shown the deep ball. Titus Young, 58-yard touchdown pass. Found his man Pettis on a number of occasions. 19 of 26, 3 touchdowns, and a beautiful one on that last drive, finding his tight end in the back of the end zone there, Linehan.
And his night is over. That is it. No reason to go forward. 5:40 left here in the 3rd, and call it a night for Kellen Moore as Joe Southwick comes into the game. Doug Martin with the carry. There is Joe Southwick, number 15, 6'1", 195-pound freshman from California.
Has gotten a lot of time this year running the football out of that Wildcat. He's a bit more mobile than Kellen Moore. Big arm. Has a rushing touchdown this season. Has only thrown the ball 5 times this year.
Gives off once again to Martin for a gain of about 3.
You know, it's not just the score that got Kellen Moore out of the ball game. It's this rivalry, the chippiness of it, and the way that they were trying to get after Kellen Moore. And, you know, Chris Peterson heard all week about got to get to Moore, got to knock him around. Why leave your quarterback in late in the game for some chippiness and some shots from your arch rival here in the state of Idaho?
So Southwick now out of the gun on 3rd and 5. And that's going to be short of the line to make as Hewat had the catch. The pressure came from Aaron Lavarius. So they will send the punt team out as Chris Peterson has pulled his star quarterback up 45 here.
There's Trevor Harmon. He doesn't get much work as a punter on this team.
Had a beauty that was pinned down at the 1-yard line earlier tonight. Shiloh Keogh back for Idaho. Fields at the 15, loses the ball, and then able to jump on it. Remember, this is the last game of this rivalry as the landscape will change, and the WAC announcing this week that the University of Texas San Antonio and Texas State will be joining. Of course, Boise leaves next year for the Mountain West, and then Fresno and Nevada, they will go to the Mountain West in 2012. So the two Texas schools coming in.
I think you have to say in the short run, that's a net loss for the WAC. And you think the WAC is betting on the future and that Texas market opening up, that Texas talent, and the growth being there for the conference.
Here's McCarty, a gain of 2. It's really, I mean, a lot of you talk to coaches in the WAC and those who are going to stick around, and they love it. We talked to Gary Anderson down at Utah State. He said, hey, I want teams in Texas.
Sure.
I want to recruit Texas.
Absolutely.
I want my guys playing in Texas. And I'm sure Rob Akey feels the same way here at Idaho. And you got Larry Coker down there at UTSA starting that football program. Of course, the former Miami Hurricane coach who won the BCS national title in 2001.
Well, it makes sense. You have to build those programs. You have to build the rivalries, and that can help you in the long run.
Enderle just gets rid of it to McCarty, and here goes McCarty in the open field. That looked like a sack for a moment, and then he salvaged the play, did Enderle, as Gavins and Winterswike were all over him before he got rid of that ball.
Did he throw that left-handed? He took a big hit. I thought he got rid of that left-handed. You'll see the hit here at the end of this, but yeah, he does toss that thing left-handed, and it was almost picked off in the middle there by Chase Baker.
Watch this in real time. Enderle took a pretty good shot there, as you see Jarrell Gavins, who was coming in and rushing him, a little slow to get up, helped off by the trainers.
I think Gavins got him low, and I think it was Winterswike who got him high.
By the way, in terms of that shuffling teams in the WAC, Rod, the 4th time in 12 years that the WAC will be rebuilt.
Wow.
Carl Benson, the commissioner's had his hands full just with the landscape of college football this summer, and he thinks he's coming up with the best possible plan here. They were going after Montana as well. The Grizzlies, of course, have been a FCS power, but they're going to stay where they are. Enderle pressured now, and he's going to run it. He took a big hit right there. He didn't slide, and Tommy Smith made him pay the price. The 3rd-string middle linebacker had a clean hit on Nate Enderle.
Yeah, had a shot, and he took it. You got to get down. First down, touchdown, get down. Now, that's helmet to helmet.
Wow.
And that is supposed to be flagged. Helmet to helmet is supposed to be flagged. Now, maybe it's hard to see that one in there.
I don't think there was any intent by Smith. No. It just ended up being a crushing helmet to helmet hit.
Well, it's just one of those safety issues. You flag it for safety reasons.
Indeed. And this goes incomplete as it bounced its way to Bailey. Billy Wynn had pressure-headed Shea McClellan. Look what the Boise defense has done to the conventional running game.
Yeah, the fake punts have been the part of the offense that's really worked for Idaho, but 12 yards on 22 rushes for them. That Boise State defense, very good. Number 2 in the nation in rushing defense.
Maybe they should run fake punts on first down. Enderle, as he hits Davis, who was just coming around the middle. And Deron Mackey was quick to get to Preston Davis.
Well, I thought it was interesting talking about this rivalry possibly ending, and Akey said, hey, we want to play home and home with them every year, and they don't want to do it. And Akey's not willing to negotiate anything less than a home and home series.
Well, they've played 40 times. They've had a long history together. Potter fields it, still on his feet, looking for room, and down at the 27. Well, last year, the Idaho athletic director, Rob Spear, went to the airport to catch a flight, but the plane. And then on Wednesday, Horizon Airlines unveiled this, a plane with the Idaho colors. And who do they bring out but the all-time legend, Jerry Kramer, of course, from Green Bay Packers fame and an Idaho Vandal. He was the first one off the Idaho Vandals plane. And there is one of the all-time greats. Jerry Kramer played for the Packers for 10 years, 5 NFL titles. Avery, just a gain of 2. Kramer was the class of '58 here at the University of Idaho.
Well, and he'll tell you himself how deep.
Personal foul, grabbing the face mask, 99 defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
How deep the rivalry is here and the passions that run between Boise State and Idaho. And it's not just the plains and the like. It's, hey, it's the city guys from Boise versus the guys out here what they call Siberia at times.
The Palouse.
Yeah, the culture clash between these two programs.
Jerry Kramer, of course, Mark Schlereth, who won 3 Super Bowls, went here as a Tom Cable NFL coach. And Michael Coughlin now in at quarterback for Boise, as Avery loses yardage that time. And there is Michael Coughlin. Now he is the tallest of the 3 Boise quarterbacks.
He's also one of those quarterbacks that has run out of that wildcat formation, and they've been willing to use 3 quarterbacks and a couple of running backs in that wildcat.
He goes 6'5", 221. Kellen Moore's night ended with 5 minutes to go in the third. 3 touchdowns. Another game without an interception thrown. Threw a couple last week. That's unlike Kellen. And here is Coughlin as he will close out the third quarter. So Moore can just cheer on the other guys now. 52-7 for the 4th-ranked team in the country. Good-looking group there of Vandal fans, young guys coming out to see their team. What they ended up seeing was Boise jump out to a 45-zip lead before the home team could break through. Start of the 4th, Joe Tessitore and Rod Gilmore here in Moscow, Idaho at the Kibbe Dome. Michael Coughlin on 3rd and 6. Coughlin's going to try to run for it. Oh, what a shot he took, and he's quick to get up. But Shiloh Keogh came up and planted one on Coughlin, and a flag comes in.
Good call. He launched and he went for the head. And it is automatic. I keep repeating it every
foul, number 10 defense, illegal helmet contact, 15-yard penalty, first down.
You cannot go for the head. And you'll watch this replay. Just watch the end where he targets. Oh, he targets it. Now, and you know the NFL has taken a real hard look at this, and they're finding guys and trying to educate people. And we're trying to educate people on the collegiate level, and the officials are really trying to flag this stuff. That stuff is dangerous. It is why we see so many concussions. Things are getting way out of hand, and you're trying to pull that back.
How did Coughlin get up so quickly? That, thankfully, was the case. They stick it on the ground here with Kaiserman for a gain of 2. Let's check in with the studio with Mike Yam. Mike?
All right, guys, a pretty good one on ESPN right now. Thunder and Blazers going at it. Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook both balling. KD with 23 points, Westbrook with 27. But it always comes down to defense. Blazers shooting 58% from the floor. Once again, the game on ESPN. Joe?
All right, thanks, Mike. Little NBA action on a Friday. Celtics, of course, taking care of the Heat again.
Wow.
2 times now early on this season. Coughlin. Pressure came. Ball still bouncing right off the back of his intended receiver, Chris Potter, as Michael Cosgrove was getting in there against Coughlin, applying some pressure.
I am still impressed at the energy and the effort level the Idaho defense has brought in this second half.
It's your biggest rival. Last time you're ever going to play them with a coach who fires you up, and they're coming through.
Well, look at Cosgrove. Look at the effort, and he's not the only one trying to get in there. I mean, Andre Ferguson trying to get back there also. This defense hasn't quit at all, despite what Boise State's put on them tonight.
Nor has this crowd, by the way. The Thundersticks still going strong. 3rd and 8. Coughlin well off the mark as he was looking for Hewat. He threw it far to the outside. It's Chris Peterson giving some playing time to both backup quarterbacks. He told us that he wanted to work Coughlin and Southwick in as soon as possible. He held off until 5 minutes to go in the 3rd to pull Kellen Moore. So Kyle Brotzman on to attempt a 47-yarder that would tie his long on the year, and the penalty comes in.
False start. Offense number 50. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
So with the 5-yard penalty, a 52-yard attempt for Brotzman. That will tie his career long if he can hit this.
Hasn't he had issues from the left hash?
A lot of folks were talking about that earlier this year, struggling from the left hash. From 52. And he was off the mark. Gave it a go. All 7 of his misses last year came from that left hash. Rob Akey is still fired up, trailing by 45. 52-7. 4th-ranked Boise. Hey, Idaho started the night with a really nice way to get going here on Memorial Day week, bringing out that flag that was in Afghanistan at an Army base. And we got a couple veterans who we just love on our crews. Bo McWilliams, who served in the U.S. Army on camera 5, and Chris Kramer, who's just below Bo, driving that cart cam, who was in the Air Force. 2 of the great guys who served our country and have been serving us well on this Friday night crew for some time. As Brian Reeder is now the quarterback for Idaho. Flag comes in as he was looking for his tight end Elmo.
Holding. Offense number 50. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
So Brian Reeder is in, Rod, and this is a guy who the coaches for Idaho said he can start for about half the teams in the WAC.
Just has the misfortune of playing for a guy, playing behind a guy who's an NFL prospect in Ender.
Reeder goes 6'3", 226. He's a junior. Pretty stout quarterbacks up here in Moscow. Here's Reeder, and he's able to get it to Johnson. And Johnson is out to the 35-yard line.
You see the accuracy and you see the arm strength there by Reeder. Put that ball on a line right there where Johnson needed it, could step out of bounds. As a matter of fact, scouts have been watching Reeder because the coaches have been so high on him, telling them that, yeah, Enderle's a good one, but Reeder will take over next season. And one of the scouts to get an early jump on him. They like his arm.
What do you think Rob Akey's going to do with this program in the coming years?
Hey, he's not done a bad job.
Shovel pass to Bailey.
Akey got that Idaho program back to got to a bowl game last year. As you take a look at Enderle and his career numbers.
Won't have him next year.
No. He's had a great career. Came all the way over from Nebraska, recruited by the Dennis Erickson staff before Erickson left for Arizona State.
Now, Tom Cable was here, Nick Holt was here, then Dennis Erickson, and now Rob Akey. And this is complete for a 1st down as Reeder's able to get it to Michael LeBron.
So, you know, Akey believes that this team is still a bowl team this year, that they could still get to a bowl game. Had them in a bowl game last year, one of their best seasons ever last season at Idaho.
Well, they're going to be 4-6 now. And they got Utah State, Fresno State, and San Jose State.
Yeah, so they've got to put together a streak to get to 7-6 and get to a bowl game. Last season, they won the Humanitarian Bowl.
They won it on Boise's home turf, the blue turf, 43-42, a thrilling game against Bowling Green and the Roadies Humanitarian. Reeder. And it's incomplete. So he was trying to connect with his big tight end.
Rob Akey has done a nice job with this program. Took over 1-11. Improved a little bit in 2008. Had the breakthrough season last year. This season lost 8 starters from their offense, and particularly a lot of folks up front of that offensive line.
Reeder over the middle. He had his man streaking, but he just put it past John Roberson.
Reeder had too much on that. Needs to take a little bit off. He had his guy there. There's a soft zone, 2 deep coverage, and he had his guy over the middle. Just too much there to try and get something done.
So a 3rd and 10 for Reeder. Bit of pressure and over the middle. That's a good looking catch that time by John Roberson. Great effort.
Well, Reeder did a double clutch before letting that ball go, and the first time he would have had Roberson watch him pump it, hold, no, and now he's a little late with it, but a great adjustment by Roberson, sticking back the right hand to come up with it, because that ball was well behind him.
He's going to the right. He has to come back to the left and make that catch. So a 1st down for Idaho, down to the 36. Steps up in the pocket, airs it out to the end zone, and incomplete. Greenwood had it for a moment, and then it came out as Brandon Thompson had the coverage on Greenwood.
Well, Thompson got the left hand inside and in between Greenwood's 2 hands to knock it out. Just watch the left arm there. Watch the left hand come through there, and that's perfect to get the ball out.
Oh, look at that. Just enough to push on that ball. Brandon Thompson, the senior cornerback. Been playing since he hit the field as a true freshman.
He's become quite a player.
Play clock running down. Reeder able to get it to his slot back.
You know, I'm sure when Thompson was a freshman and a sophomore, he was not crazy about all the attention he got because Kyle Wilson was on the other side. So teams picked on him. But he grew through all of that and became a really, really good corner, making a big play in last season's Fiesta Bowl.
Had that pick 6. So the reception to Bailey makes for a 3rd and 6 here for Reeder. Gonna air it out, and Thompson, another interception. Brandon Thompson started the game with an interception and now grabs one here in the 4th quarter.
Well, he disguised that one. That was perfect. He made them think he was in press coverage, going to be up close in man single coverage, and then he dropped back out and played zone, and he had plenty of room. He was in better position than the receiver completely for that. That was an excellent job of decoying or disguising what he was doing back there to set the quarterback up.
That Boise defense just keep impressing. Joe Southwick now back in at quarterback. from his end zone and able to get it complete to Hiwa. ABC Saturday Night Football delivers regional action. Most of the nation is going to see Oklahoma State, ranked 10th now, against Texas. Saturday Night Football presented by Southwest Airlines. Some are going to see USC in Arizona or Clemson at Florida State. You can go to ESPN.com and search maps to see which game you're going to get.
A couple things. One is that Texas game. Mac Brown and the Longhorns have had a tough go of it. Maybe being at home will help them get over the hump against a good Oklahoma State team.
Ball comes loose, and Idaho is going to score the touchdown as Aaron Lavaris, who's been active all night long, jumps on it. Conrad Scheidt came in with the sack and the forced fumble, and Lavaris gets the recovery for a score.
Well, the sack comes from the blind side. Southwick, no chance here, didn't see it, gets it knocked out, holding the ball kind of low. Lavaris in the perfect spot to pick this up. But Conrad Scheidt made the play with that blindside blitz.
One of the rare mistakes from Boise tonight. Idaho, something to cheer on here.
ESPN's College Football Primetime, brought to you by Cadillac, the new standard of the world, and Wendy's, you know when it's real.
That is the Kibbe Dome. One of 3 FBS schools is Idaho to have an indoor stadium. Of course, you got Tulane with the Superdome, opened in 1975. Up there in Syracuse, you got the Carrier Dome in the middle of that beautiful campus. And here, the Kibbe Dome, which seats 16,000, the smallest FBS stadium
Trying to say
in the nation.
Dome, sweet dome.
Gets me hungry thinking about kibbe, a tremendous Lebanese dish.
You sample everything. I love going to dinner with you.
Let's get to Sports Center right now with Mike Yam.
All right, guys, he is a love machine. Kevin Love grabbed a franchise record 31 rebounds, scored 31 points. It's the NBA's first 30-30 game in 28 years. And, oh, yeah, the Timberwolves rallied from a 21-point deficit to piss off the Knicks. Manny Pacquiao and Antonio Margarito trying to put on a show in Cowboy Stadium on a Saturday. The two had their weigh-in on Friday. Margarito hasn't fought in 21 months. Complete round-by-round coverage of the fight on SportsCenter tomorrow night.
Think Manny Pacquiao's ripped a bit at 144 pounds? Look at the height differential on Margarito and Pacquiao, too.
That's going to be something. What do you think about that fight?
I think it's a great fight because it's a huge challenge for Pacquiao with the size differential. As Jarvis Hodge gets some work here. You know, it's interesting. I mean, Pacquiao is a freak of nature, Rod. This is a guy that started his career at 106 pounds and is now fighting guys at 150 pounds.
How do you do that?
Going up?
How do you do that?
You know, 50% of your body weight by the time you go up to that point of your career.
I see guys going down, but how do you go up like that?
And still maintain your power.
Yeah.
We're going to talk some college fantasy football. Big day of Saturday action coming up. We'll get Rod and Colin Cowherd's selections. As Hodge drives ahead. Good run there for a first down, just motoring ahead. All right, Rod, time for Friday Fantasy Football. Colin Cowherd's got the lead on the year. You see he's going Geno Smith tomorrow. Talk to me about your picks.
Well, I got Andy Dalton. I'm thinking, you know, I got to get him going. I've wanted Justin Blackman
Justin Blackman's a wide receiver, and Montel Harris is a running back.
Got to get Montel Harris, and they're having a great year. Been really strong the last few weeks. I see you've got some nice players.
I've got Montel Harris's old quarterback from Boston College who transferred to East Carolina. But Harris playing Duke tomorrow. He should have a big day. I think you're going to explode tomorrow with that lineup. Justin Blackman is unbelievable in terms of what he's doing as Hodge runs again. Justin Blackman, Rod, and the fine wide receiver from Oklahoma State. It's not just that he's the nation's leading receiver. Number 2 is 36 yards behind him per game. That's unheard of.
He's having the kind of year that like Crabtree had a couple years ago. And just really kind of being the dominant wide receiver out there in the collegiate game.
Joe Southwick getting some time here with Jarvis Hodge at running back, as Boise's been getting a lot of these backup players some quality time here against their in-state rivals. Here are the numbers on Justin Blackman.
Oh, well, just incredible. I mean, keep in mind, he's also missed a game, and his numbers are just ridiculous. 75 catches, almost 1,300 yards. And he is so far ahead of everybody else in what he's done in yards per game. 161 yards a game. What Ryan Broyles is next, right? With what, 120 or something?
Can you imagine that? He's over 40 yards ahead of the #2 receiver in the country in yards per game. Southwick. He underthrew the intended receiver into the outside for Hewat.
His Blackman's 15 touchdowns are only equaled by Lyle Leong at Texas Tech. Get beyond those two, and no one's really close.
So you can see Blackman tomorrow, Oklahoma State against Texas. That's an ABC 8 o'clock game, as we will have regional coverage tomorrow. Of course, get your day started with Chris Fowler and Lee and Kirk and Desmond. College Game Day. They'll get going at 9 a.m. on ESPNU before they bring it over to ESPN. They're in Columbus, Ohio for that Penn State Ohio State game.
Great setting for game day, great setting for a ball game.
Drew right now. They are unloading the bench. Flag comes in. The depth chart is being dug into here.
Very deep.
As Drew Wright.
Illegal block, number 42 offense. 15-yard penalty, 3rd down.
It's Jake Hess, the backup quarterback. So some of the Saturday headlines. You got Bama seeing if they can straighten things out a bit before they play Auburn. Of course, the SEC East is on the line to see who makes it to the title game. South Carolina and Florida at 7:15 on ESPN. And we talked about it. Longhorns struggling. Can they break through against Oklahoma State?
Well, how about Alabama? When they take the field, they may already know if the SEC West is won by Auburn. Auburn plays Georgia earlier. Now, if Georgia should upset Auburn, well, then you still have something to play for if you're Alabama. If Auburn beats Georgia and you've lost the West, will Alabama show up? And that's my question. If that happens, will they show up?
There's a wide receiver screen here. And Southwick was able to connect, but minimal gain to Aaron Burks.
Remember back a couple years ago, Alabama lost and wound up in the Sugar Bowl with nothing really to play for. Utah wiped them out.
Absolutely.
I got to believe that
Andre
Nick Saban,
Smith, the issues there that December.
I'm sure Nick Saban's telling his guys, you know, show up.
Rod, there's over 6 minutes to go in a game that's been a blowout from the beginning, and these fans are still with these thunder sticks cheering on their team and their defense.
Unbelievable.
Every single play.
Unbelievable.
You got to give a lot of credit to these Idaho fans. This is going to be the last time they play Boise, maybe for a long, long time, and they're with it every step of the way as we step away. To see Central Michigan and Hawaii.
You're going to wake me? You're going to text me or call me or what?
That's what I'm going to do, just to be different. Oh, a smashing sack that time as Southwick went down hard and Benson Mayowa came in. Ball was recovered there by Boise to bring up a 4th down.
They had trouble handling the ball from the start. And then here's the big hit. Maoa on the pressure from the right side there. Nice job going up high to get that ball out.
You know, you brought this up earlier because this thing was a blowout right from the start. But this defense never stopped playing hard.
No.
Never. Idaho has been playing ball all night long. regardless of the scoreboard. And on the bounce, there is Keogh. Enjoyed our time out here in Idaho. We got 2 crews out here. Our telecast is also available in 3D on ESPN 3D, brought to you by Sony. There are the guys in the 3D truck. The guy with the shiny head on the left is the producer Josh Hoffman, and there's the director Doug Holmes, as they are wearing the glasses, the 3D glasses, and you see the crew there in the 3D monitor.
That's pretty cool. And you actually do this most of the season.
Well, when I'm not hanging with you on Friday nights, I'll take off for some Saturday 3D games. There's a 3D camera. We're going to be bringing you the Fiesta Bowl and the BCS national title game in 3D. So Brian Reeder back out there for Idaho. Princeton McCarty.
You know, I've had a chance to see some of the 3D games, the viewing parties and the like. It is incredible to watch that stuff.
Reeder gets it to the big target, Eric Greenwood. And that 1 foot tied up. He's trying to shake loose for more. Rod, let me ask you this. Going to be an upset tomorrow among the big boys up top? Auburn going to go down to Georgia, or Oregon going to have a tough time with Cal?
I think Oregon will be fine with Cal. I think the fact that Kevin Riley is not quarterbacking because of injury for Cal makes it unlikely that Cal can score enough to upset Oregon. Nice throw.
Good completion.
Oh, nice throw.
Out to midfield to Michael LeGrone by by Reeder.
I think if there is a likely upset, it may be Auburn, Georgia, just because of everything that's been going on with Auburn. That may be the most likely one, although I don't think it's that likely. I think Stanford's got to be careful. Kind of a trap game with Arizona State, having beat Arizona last week, have Cal next week in the big game. Kind of a trap game for Stanford.
And here's McCarty out of the backfield. Well, what about WAC action tomorrow with Nevada at Fresno?
Interesting. That is a very interesting game. Pat Hill has his guys playing well. And then you've got Colin Kaepernick and that offense. And we've got Nevada in a couple of weeks in a big game against Boise State.
Well, Boise's got those 2 teams the next 2 weeks. Next week, Fresno will come to Boise. That game will be the Friday primetime game. And then the day after Thanksgiving, and this is going to be a good one, Boise is going to have a big challenge at the end of their year here. Nevada number 21, and they have to go to Reno. Chris Peterson and Boise will go to Reno to try to match up with Colin Kaepernick and that pistol offense. Reeder going to air it out, going deep. And just out of the reach of Armani Johnson.
You know, Chris Peterson, I don't think is all that happy. As we take a look at this schedule, you see what they have left. Fresno State, at Nevada, Utah. We've got a couple of those games. You can pencil in the Idaho game as a win, but you look at the numbers.
I mean, Rod, look at these scores. And most of these games, obviously the Virginia Tech game was a thrilling game when Virginia Tech, Virginia Tech's gone on to run the table since their early stumbles this year. That was a thriller that they win with the comeback at the end. Oregon State, they handled, it was competitive for a while, then they handled them. And then none of these games have been competitive at all.
Well, and that's what you should do if you're going to be considered for the national championship and you're a non-AQ. You must dominate. You must dominate when you're playing other non-AQs. And that's what they've done. They got the close win over Virginia Tech. They had a solid win over Oregon State. Both of those are AQ schools. And so now you get away from that. How do you handle the other guys in your leagues? And they've dominated everybody. Even with that, Chris Peterson looks like he's not happy. You wouldn't know it was up 52-14 by looking at him. He's not happy with the play of his second stringers.
Reeder on 3rd and 10. Another shovel pass to Bailey. And Bailey gets to the edge and dives ahead, close to that first down line to make. You know, that Virginia Tech game early in the year, obviously, was back and forth. They trailed, but since then, 478 minutes without trailing in a game.
That's pretty good. Now, why does Chris Peterson still have his headset on?
You tell me.
He's dialed in, isn't he?
He is a coach. He is a coach's coach, that is for sure.
He does not look ahead.
Bear Bryant, National Coach of the Year award winner in 2006 and last year. Let's take a look back at our real time, brought to you by Wendy's. Doug Martin. Another look. You could hear it as Shiloh Keough was the target, and Doug Martin just came bulldozing into him.
Remember Bo Jackson, Brian Bosworth, Jackson running over him? That's what that looked like. That makes Martin's highlight reel.
Fourth and inches now. And a flag comes in. In fact, 3 of them do, as Jamar Taylor interfered with Eric Greenwood.
He didn't interfere. He climbed him. He just climbed all over him.
He needs a step ladder because Greenwood is 6'6".
15-yard penalty, first down.
You know, sometimes as a corner, you make the choice. I'll take 15 or I'll take the penalty instead of giving up the touchdown. And if that means climbing on a guy, you do that. And Taylor just went all up the back of Greenwood.
And they are able to get to Reeder this time as Chase Baker just smothered him.
Well, Chris Peterson wants his defense, his second stringers, to finish the game. They weren't getting it done. He's getting some of the first stringers back in there. He wants to finish this off without a score, and that's why he's got the headset on. He's focused over there on the sideline, and you mentioned it earlier. He does not look ahead. He is totally in the moment, every play, every game.
That is incomplete on 2nd and 15. He was trying to get it to Michael LeGrone, a tight end. Coverage came from Jason Robinson. Now, Coach Pete does not look ahead on any front. Try talking to Coach Peterson about the BCS and how things are going to play out. He will not even respond. I stopped asking about a year and a half ago.
It just doesn't exist to him. He calls it drama. He calls it noise. And he said they don't pay any attention to the noise and don't want to be involved in the drama.
As this time he's able to get it to Landon Weaver.
Yeah, he says the drama, the noise changes week to week, and all they need to focus on is playing ball. And they got a lot of games left to play, and he doesn't want Boise State to be caught up in the drama. No lobbying, no talking about BCS, just about their game.
So 4th and 12 here as Coach Pete just watching that clock count down. He's been doing that seemingly since halfway through the 3rd quarter when he pulled his Heisman candidate quarterback, Kellen Moore. And Idaho's going to call a timeout.
Timeout, Idaho.
Which allows us to tell you about college football primetime presented by Hampton Hotels. It's going to be ESPN Saturday at 7:15. And this is the matchup, Rod, that will determine the SEC East title, South Carolina and Florida.
And South Carolina has never been to an SEC championship game. They are also 0-12 in Gainesville. So if it's going to happen, this might be Steve Spurrier's best chance. Get Steven Garcia a chance to play better than he did last week and Marcus Lattimore get healthy as you take a look at our game summary tonight.
They jumped out in a nearly flawless first quarter, in a first quarter where Boise showed you every aspect of what they are as a team. They had the interceptions, they had the running game, they had the punt return for a touchdown, they had the big pass from Moore to Titus Young. It was 28-zip after one quarter, and they looked like they were as perfect can be.
And they throttled a pretty good passing team also.
Kellen Moore got pulled with 5 minutes to go in the third. Here's 4th and 12. And that is incomplete as Reeder threw it far to the outside of John Roberson. Let's talk about Kellen Moore's night.
Been a pretty good night for Kellen Moore. Finished up early, but showed you the newfound strength in that arm and that deep ball. Finding Titus Young, found Mr. Pettis a couple of times, Avery out of the backfield, and then a beautiful touchdown to end his night to Gabe Linehan in the back of the end zone. Been a big night for Kellen Moore.
Puts the orange cap on. It's been just watching Coughlin and Southwick get some playing time. Hodge with the carry here, unable to gain much. And Kellen Moore, last week, rare occurrence, had a couple of turnovers. Never really does that. Here's his pass chart tonight.
Well, we talked about the deeper throws. 4 of 6 over 15 yards. A lot of accuracy. You always knew he was going to be accurate on the throws under 15 yards. You see what he's done down there. But really, the over 15-yard throw, really much better this season for Boise State and Kellen Moore.
And Rod, 35 career wins now, and he's a junior. Obviously, they've got the rest of the regular season ahead of them here with Fresno, Nevada, and Utah State, and then we will see what happens with where they land BCS-wise. Here's Jarvis Hodge streaking down. This Hodges ran really hard in this fourth quarter.
Well, he has no choice. I mean, the guys in front of him run pretty hard, too. I mean, Doug Martin, Jeremy Avery, they kind of set the stage, the tempo for that. And you expect your backups to step in and play the same way. And we saw just how hard Martin can run. Avery showed you that. And these are not the biggest running backs, but they are strong and they run with a lot of attitude.
Hodge works that clock down even further. Rod, you were asking, when will he take the headset off?
There you go.
33 seconds to go in a 52-14 game. Chris Peterson's night of work is over. Although when this team gets in the locker room, I'm sure they will hear plenty from him.
Well, he won't be happy with some of the miscues. A couple of fake punts run against them, special teams area. That's the one thing he'll harp on.
The nation's longest active win streak. 23 straight games now for Boise. In terms of the regular season, they have won 34 straight regular season games. And they move on. 9-0 now overall for the 4th-ranked team in the country. They will be on the Friday night primetime game next week against Fresno State. Our final score, 52-14. Coming up next, it'll be NFL Live. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Rod Gilmore and our entire crew, I'm Joe Tessitore. Enjoy the rest of your night, and we thank you for being with us.